sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, a life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Can I be your superhero?
Growing up ain't easy. Too many things to do weekly. Too many thoughts to think deeply. Too many thoughts to be sleeping. Yeah, oh my God, I'm not eating. I feel so empty, I'm receding. And all of my friends are misleading. All of these posts and the lives they're leading. Yeah, oh, no way, I ain't gonna stand for this today. I'ma keep my head down, I'm okay. I don't wanna listen to a word they say. And we all know fear is a slogan, yeah. And we all feel broken, yeah. And we all outspoken. Need someone who could just so shout. Sometimes I struggle in this place. Been in circles several days. Never knowing the right way, yeah. Sometimes I struggle in this place. People look the other way. And we all deal with our pain, oh yeah. No, I'm not down, no, I'm not out. If I got a voice, they gon' hear me shout. I can make my own choice and we've all got a mouth. I'ma make noise, yeah, that I don't doubt. I don't feel failure, not yet. Mistakes they make, you better don't regret. And like Drake said, man, I'm upset. Too many people out here wasting their breath, yeah, yeah. And still I feel like we've just all been going crazy. Too many people need to find themselves some safety. Just take control of your life, it's all day to day, yeah. Don't need nobody else, myself can always save. Sometimes I struggle in this place. Been in circles several days. Never knowing the right way, yeah. Sometimes I struggle in this place. look the other way, and we all deal with our pain. Oh yeah. Sometimes I struggle in this place, been in circles several days, never knowing the right way. Yeah. Sometimes I struggle in this place, people look the other way, and we all deal with our pain. Oh yeah.
I remember you and me, and how careless we could be.
All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb, we would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright, staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us, like a good drug, never run. We hook up in my
5 seconds
These
remaining.
teams change all the time, right? Well, they certainly had that moment where they kind of was definitely with IPG. Because he doesn't have more than, I think, 10 games in a single
5
team.
seconds remaining.
And Supernova similarly also comes from the kind of the tier 3
Radiant
scene. Did also play in the Flight to Moon 2.0 stack, and he was one of those players that again played as a stand-in for many teams. Had a small stint in a car game. I mean, literally the team was called as a car name. Not really sure if that was too. Stint in more tier 2 team. He played with was Cascade, a relatively well-known Russian org. They actually played in the open qualifiers as well, and that also gave him a bit more help so they could jump into some of the more major teams like IPE. In the case of Bait, I mean, what is there to say? It is the newest iteration. We have TSA, who's been a kind of a staple of the tier 2 EEU scene for a while. No Fear as well as a veteran of the Eastern European scene himself, and Limitless and Watson, perhaps the newest players in the Watson actually comes from Hustlers last season. No Fear played with him as a stand-in as they replaced their original carry here, Lightless, and that actually conditioned him to play with him in Bait a second time, because No Fear apparently, according to Bait's video, really vouched for Watson and his ability. In the case of Limitless, he's also a relatively new player. Like I mentioned, he did play in Flight to Moon 2.0, but a lot of people played in that team as well, to be honest, and he just comes from this constant shuffling of the CIS scene, mostly just being a stand-in for a variety of teams. This is his first big stint in a DPC worth. Hopefully with this, you guys are ready to watch the draft, which is now going to start. So back to you one last time, Richie.
Dire team.
Hopefully not for the very last time, of course, because we've got still 2 more weeks of Dota action. As far as I know, I'm still here for those games. But we do have our draft indeed underway. Fantastic 5 and Bait's already underway. So let's jump right into game number 1 and see how our series is going to lead off.
Dire team back.
Hello, Mistravo Plus. How's it going?
Hello, sorry, my brain is just reconnecting.
Of course, I understand.
Yeah, that was a lot of information thrown at me at once. Yeah, Bait versus Fantastic 5, exciting game. I think this is actually one of the more even series we get to watch this season in general. I think both teams are they're improving and they're in similar positions where they slightly reform the team. You know, Bait a bigger reform than Fantastic 5, but Bait also has a bit bigger support than Fantastic 5, to be honest, as an org, from what I can tell from their videos. So it's gonna be a really interesting matchup. They have very unique styles themselves.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that
Radiant
Bates
team
does
back.
bring a lot more support as an organization to its players. Of course,
Dire
having the
team
Dendi
back.
effect, I think, obviously nets you more eyes for sponsors, more eyes for these games, right? So you are able to provide more for the teams, simply put, right? That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And I think that's what's great. That's a great part of still having Dendi around on the scene. Not only do we, we still have this Netflix star. I'm surprised he
10
hasn't moved on to
seconds
bigger and
remaining.
better things, maybe an HBO movie or something like
make
that.
him an
But we
IMDb.
still have a
5
yeah, of course.
seconds
We still have our
remaining.
Netflix star Dendi still actively playing Dota over 11 years after he first lifted the Aegis and gotten that big cardboard check from Gaben himself. But he's also still supporting it and bringing up-and-coming teams, still kind of utilizing the name recognition to bring a lot of resources to lower division Dota, which does not happen for a lot of these teams, simply put. I think having him around is awesome. Not only, of course, because we get to see Dendi still in the mid lane, but because of all the resources he brings. So I always love casting a big game.
Yes, indeed, I agree. I feel like it's nice to
10
see
seconds remaining.
the older players bring in new players to the scene no matter what the region. I feel like Infamous is
5
something in
seconds
South
remaining.
America. They've done this for a while. Western Europe never really had a team like that, but SCA as well. We had Mushi, which we could compare to Dendi in that sense, that he always makes new stacks of new players, and those players end up leaving him behind.
Yeah.
but it keeps happening, right? And I feel like at least it's a nice little
Dire
jumping
team
spot
back.
for a lot of players, and I think Dendi could fulfill that role within the East region. I also would like his team to improve in general, though. I feel like if they just stuck together for a bit longer, this iteration is actually looking kind of good, just judging by the results and also by their playstyle. And they're already starting to diversify their picks a bit with their Trim Protector, a pick we have seen once before. Vision,
10
but barely
seconds
been picked.
remaining.
Bait apparently liked that idea.
Yeah, I like the idea as well. If this is
5
to be your
seconds
support duo,
remaining.
Lina and the Treant Protector, it gives you some good setup. Pardon me, some good BKB piercing disable as well with the Treant Protector. The ability to split push lanes on a position 4 extremely effectively, so you don't really have to put Dendi on that role. And that's something that I've pointed out that I don't think he can really do anymore. Especially on the
Radiant
puck
team
games, we've
back.
seen him last season get caught out multiple times in the same spot in the same way. So relegating that position to someone else, or delegating rather, as Captain Dendi is going to do, is going to let someone else put themselves in the line of fire, so he can ideally get a better start to the game. And also, it's a really annoying lane support. The previous game, if you're
10
curious who played this before, it was
seconds
Zayats. He loves the Treant Protector.
Yes.
He shelved it for a whole year, but he brought it
5
back last
seconds
week
remaining.
and actually ended up losing that game with it, I want to say.
Yeah. No. Zayats
they won.
Zayats
They won.
that game.
They won.
Yeah, it was actually a really
They
good
won, and
Trim
it was-
Protector game as well. Like he played in. It was
Radiant
almost lost though,
team
because the
pick.
Niga played an insane game, but I do feel like Zayats had a lot to do with
Dire team pick.
some incredible overgrowth there. We'll see how it works this game. Fantastic Five, they picked their signature hero. Honestly, I think it's the Ancient Apparition. I think this is
Yeah.
the pick. This is the hero in this is the team, sorry, in lower division that's picked Ancient Apparition the most. They love it on BZZ, and it's suited. I think it's really solid against Trim Protector in general. It's a hero that, with the right carry, works
10 seconds
honestly really
remaining.
easily, and kind of a size-fits-all kind of support on
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's a hero that, like you said, BZZ has gone to time and time again. I think it's one of the easier heroes to pick up. I don't think he's an easy hero to play. I think he's got a lot of mana management in the lane. There's a lot of spell usage that you have to be on point with, and of course, kind of communicating with your team to get the Ice Blast out on time. So in no means is he like an easy hero to play, especially at the professional level. But I would say he's, of the supports that you have, the easiest, one of the easiest to pick up on. So, and it's been working for Fantastic Five. You can lane this perhaps with a Wraith King, with a Sven, something that Askold has been very keen to play quite a bit of these days. And looking at their cores here for Fantastic Five, I do believe that either our off lane or our safe lane needs a bit of control. Right now, all of our control is a bit situational. We've got the Dream Coil into Terrorize combo, of course, but we don't have like any casual stuns, anything too nice. That's going to be immediate, right? Curse Crown will be there eventually. Same thing with Cold Feet. It's going to be there eventually, but we need something to enable these.
Yeah, I do agree. That's why I feel like
up to draft, though. We'll see. They're probably going to reveal a core here, and it's going to be the Dendi Shadow Fiend.
Okay.
The last time we've seen Dendi on Shadow Fiend, he still likes to go for the Magic Burst combo, so to speak. So he likes to go for Boots of Travel, Blink Dagger, Yule Scepter, Arcane Blink, BKB, in some order that makes sense.
10
This is
seconds
pretty nice
remaining.
versus the very
Dire
squishy,
team
basically team so far that Fantastic Five have drafted themselves. There's that Sven, like I was saying. It's a Rari favorite, combos with the AA. But we also have been seeing a lot of SFs kind of play a bit more like a carry in the mid lane, opting for power treads first, going for Dragonlance, maybe even considering a Manta style this game, considering the amount of dispels or debuffs that you have. So I'd be curious as to where Bates is, or how Dendi rather is going to want to play this SF.
5 seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, the last time they lost with the SF, it didn't really work out with them too well because it just wasn't a solid enough win condition or space maker. He kind of plays, as you mentioned, right, this hybridish build where he's halfway there by going the magic damage, but still not quite committing to the full space maker SF. With the Sven, I feel like Fantastic 5's lineup is already much easier. It looks really good for 5 because of the easy
Radiant
execution. They
team
have,
back.
Puck plus Ancient Apparition, easy team fight, good space makers as well with Dark Willow.
Dire
Sven
team
just
back.
farms, and the late game Sven beats down most every carry on it. So it's going to be tough for Bait to be able to win this, like if they play at the same level. Bait needs to
Radiant
over-execute
team back.
above Fantastic.
I agree. I will say for now, I think team fights, especially early, are a
Dire
bit difficult
team.
for Fantastic 5. Of course, we haven't seen their offlaner, right? So that's why I'm saying this. But I think having now already banned the Mars, which would have been super nice to have, Darkseer as well, banned out for Supernova. That's a favorite of his. And no Slardar, no Mag, no Centaur, or the Timbersaw. I feel like I like Bait drafting
seconds
their
remaining.
carry last here because most of the bans I've been noticing have been,
5
yes, for your
seconds
OP
remaining.
carries, especially for Snake Lady. No one wants to play with her or against her these days, but also a lot of offlaners getting the bulk of the bans, I feel, in this meta. So Fantastic 5, they're going to come down to probably like a Sand King or something like that, but I don't know if that's exactly what they'll be needing. Whoa.
Yeah, this is the security you need. I mean, it's an option, right? It's one of the few heroes that can actually deal with Sven into the late game. Of course, this allows Fantastic 5 to out-tempo you if they were to pick something that could deal with the Spectre. They're not very options, though, because you need to pick an offlaner here. The only thing Spectre
Yeah.
can
10
say,
seconds remaining.
I agree with that one. I agree with
5
that one. Plus, we've got a
seconds
lot of Magic Burst, which is nice to have-ish versus a Spectre, especially from a distance. But yeah, the Ice Blast is going to be a bit of a problem here. But the lane shouldn't be too bad, really. Willow's going to be annoying, but mostly for the Treant Protector. So I will say, and actually with Treant here, ideally you pick the Treant knowing that the Willow is going to be the position 4 most likely, especially if Bait have done their research versus Fantastic 5. They know that BZZ does not play the Willow 5. So they should have a pretty good advantage in this safe lane. I think I like this draft out from Bait. It is the very traditional 2 supports, first fave, last pick in your core, but I think it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense for them.
yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense considering as well that Fantastic 5 is probably around the same level as you. If you assume that both teams are around the same level, out-tempoing you for Fantastic 5, now they need to play a bit extra as well. So you know that that's going to happen, and this gives you a lot more security within your draft, acknowledging as well that your late game is pretty great. Bait still has one of the best late games.
Yeah.
It's just that they rarely make it.
It's very true, yeah, and in fact, speaking of teams that don't do too well in the late game, who was it? It was No Techies, was it, or one of the matches we had last week where we kind of saw the inconsistencies into the late game really come into play. So, you know, that's a good skill to be having, being able to actually play in the late game and being able to end games, and this is a lineup that can end games, right? Spectre with Haunt, no problem, immediately up to the high ground, Beastmaster blank, Shadow Queen blank, Treant Protector blank,
Choose your heroes.
boom, you're already in. Okay, Necro offlane versus the Spectre. It's actually a decent pick here, I have to say,
I like
but
it.
I think it leaves their team fight in a bit of an awkward spot. Because it's like you're really, really, really great at single target in the early game here for Fantastic 5. But if Bait want to show up to big team fights, and of course Watson has the luxury of showing up every now and then whilst not sacrificing his farm, thanks to Haunt, I think Fantastic 5 might have some real big problems in these early fights, to be honest. I think they kind of have to try and use this Necro to get them into the late game to secure space for Rari.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the Necrophos here is a good option here against the Spectre. Combines all of the Ancient Apparition, a lot of percentage damage. It might even give you enough to actually beat him in the late. So the only thing, though, I should mention here is that Bait do have a Beastmaster here against the Spectre. No save for. That, in the late game, could mean a lot for Bait to be able to, especially with the Primal Roar.
Yeah, I'm really curious how, like, what's Fantastic's 5, like, what's their time? Like, when do they think they are going to be at their peak? When do they want to end the game? Because I look at Bait and it's not too similar. Like, I could definitely see a timing here where Necro is ideally kind of impossible to kill. Your Sven has maybe 3-4 items, BKB, Echo Saber, Mask of Madness +1. And Puck is very elusive here and very hard to catch. But at that time, I feel like Bait also have their items, and I wouldn't be too keen to fight into them either, especially depending on the build that Dendi goes for.
That is true. That is true. Do you think that Dendi could have a potential of going the build he does on Invoker, where you go for like this light Space Maker Magic Power build, and then as the game goes on and on, you actually become a carry to supplement the Spectre?
Yeah, that's a very real possibility, and I know we had some voice issues behind the scenes, but well, I was speaking about how a lot of the SFs in the mid lane, especially in the kind of deciding to try and be the Space Maker into just then more damage to help Watson into the like mid to late game period. That's
what you're missing anyway, right? Spectre in the late game, the tank ability is covered for. I mean, I guess you're up against Necrophos and Ancient Apparition, but there's not much you can do against that. Nobody else can build tank. But if you supplement this damage, you get more burst around, then you might even be able to really punish Fantastic Fives. Light up. They might not even be able to get off their Ice Blast or their Reaper Scythe if you just burst them fast enough, right?
Yeah.
That's always an option for Dendi here. I like both lineups. I think both lineups are proposing something honestly fairly similar. I wouldn't really give a huge advantage to either or. Maybe slight to a Fantastic Five. I think they dealt well with the Spectre.
I think they have dealt really well with the Spectre. I think you're absolutely right about that. But yes, drafting-wise, absolutely. Of course, because, you know, smoke ganking and not finding anyone is you know, just a net loss or a net zero gain, I suppose, for both teams. Because nobody dies for first blood. Bait, we're waiting by the mid tower, trying to snipe someone. Unfortunately, they won't be able to, as a Fantastic Five. We're smoking and heading through the jungle real quick. But I agree. I think they have dealt with the Spectre very nicely. But my concern is really, like, are we going to be able to get off these abilities, right? DZZ, famously, I mean, not ECZ, but Ancient Apparition more likely, the hero kind of just made out of paper, and Spectre able to immediately jump him. It doesn't matter if he has 4 staff, it doesn't really matter if he goes X, Y, or Z, he's going to be in trouble, so he's going to basically have to go probably for like a Ghost Scepter this game, but that sets you up for so much damage out from Lina, who's got some good range, depending on the build for Dendi. He might be able to just pick you up while he's killing someone else on accident, you know, like, it's very, very difficult.
Apparition drive-by accident.
Yeah, you know, oh, I Requiem'd and I was underneath the puck, but somehow I killed AA. I didn't even know he was alive, you know? Like, it's, I just, it's so difficult. But I agree, if BZZ, and I believe he can, because he plays a lot of the AA, if he can get off, there's the Cold Feet combo coming into play, if he can get off good positioning, if he can make sure he's not just dead to start off every team fight, because they need this Ice Blast, I think they've got a real chance.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the Ancient Apparition has some counterplay with some of the things you mentioned. Both optimization. You could go for like a very defensive optimization this game. Glimmer, Cape, Ghost Scepter. I think the change to the Ags, because now it's just not that great for Ancient Apparition 5, really freed up the spaces for this hero. You know, as in the goal that he gets, right? If the game goes long enough, he eventually does get defensive items, which before he couldn't really do it because he had to rush the Ags at some point.
Yeah, that old Ags was so good. Like old SF where you die once if you're trying to go mid AA and the game's kind of over. As TSA experiencing the icy burn. There's Rari to follow suit, but he decides he actually can't get that kill. Completely out of mana as well. Using Warcry to get back on over the creep wave. Limitless is going to be going for the, not the Hooded Defiance, that is going to be the, oh my goodness, the Helm of the Dominator. So pretty standard offlane build on the Beastmaster. A lot of people still think that the Beastmaster is well worth a ban just because of the amount of flexibility he brings you, despite the Aghanim Scepter nerf. Are you kind of in that camp as well?
Yeah, I thought the Beastmaster wasn't that nerfed. Like, I mean, when I first saw the patch, I didn't even see the Aghanim Scepter. I thought, oh, this is a possibility, it'll be a meme. I didn't think it would be as buffed as it was, right? I really misjudged that, but I still thought Beastmaster would be perfectly viable with just with the Helm of the Dominator. You know, with Solo Crest being buffed as it is, Vlad's being much better as well. The fact that you can go for the Helm of the Dominator, that it has been improved if you go for the Helm of the Overlord into the late game, because now you can take 2 force. Yep. I don't think the hero's bad at all. I'm not surprised they're still banning.
Yeah,
I just think that Axe took the center stage per se.
Mid lane, center stage, all the above for sure. And just a quick point here as well on the Helm. They actually reduced the bounty that you feed on the creeps as well with the first one. Now if you go for Helm 2, you still feed the same amount of gold as before with the Helm 1. So that became a little bit less punishing as well, because it's like a 150 gold bounty, now reduced to half. Is Limitless. Ooh, nice LSA is going to stop Rari from doing any more damage here. Although the Ice Feet will, or Cold Feet will still trigger, Limitless not taking too much damage here. Lots of armor here, going for the Helm of the Iron Will, even before the Brown Boots rushing the Helm. So he's got a lot of armor to deal with this Sven.
Yeah, that's very true. That's going to help a lot to deal with the cleave as well if you had gone for the build. In fact, Rari has gone for just Stormhammer Warcry, so more of a laning build per se, right, to withstand the Lina.
Yeah, usually at level 3 you go for the 1-1-1,
exactly.
and then
you start maxing the cleave. Or maybe you save the point if you don't want to push the lane. That's always a possibility, like he's doing now, I think.
Top. Supernova is going to be okay. It's a TP to the tier 1 tower, though, as Willow was going back to stack a camp here. Nice aggressive play from Bates. So they don't even have a ward there, but they just kind of sensed that the Willow was missing and forced a TP from Supernova. Well played.
Well, we'll see what happens here in the top lane. The Supernova, the more levels you get, the easier this lane becomes for him. Supernova is making it hell though right now, and Supernova could just fall. The Cursed Crown, they divide before, it hits, and that could be a Death Spectre. Watson using the Fairy Fire. Supernova has his own, but No Fear punches just a bit too hard. Watson is actually capable of getting away. No Fear will not be so lucky though. So many creeps are hitting him, despite him being melee. His armor is piss poor, and they're gonna be able to finish him.
Absolutely, good fight there. No Fear really, of course, just coming in with the damage. You can see in his last dying moments, he casts Living Armor, but like a true support onto his carry and not onto himself, as he will fall. But yeah, I mean, he's totally fine. He was out of mana, and not having any mana regeneration on the Tree Protector really sucks, because you're not as dumb as a rock, but you are as dumb as a tree, which is not much smarter, unfortunately. Yeah, so he's going to be able to refill the mana here for free.
He's lived forever.
He is wise, but I think there's a difference between intelligence and what's the other?
Wisdom.
And wisdom, right? Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So that's why Tree has such great rotations, but unfortunately his magic prowess is not.
It's very true. You know, for example, it is intelligent to know that a fruit is the tomato is a fruit rather, but it is wise not to put it into a fruit salad.
That's a great compare. My girlfriend refuses to say both. She says if it doesn't go in a fruit salad, it's not a fruit. She has a real vendetta about this. She gets really angry when she sees people call it tomatoes.
It's like American schools, how say, oh yes, pizza is a fruit because it has tomatoes on it.
That's how I used to tell my parents. They never believed. You don't understand. I always wanted pizza for dessert. Anyway.
Lovely.
I think that right now neither team is really looking for too much aggression, right? Perhaps once we see the mids actually coming online.
Yeah.
Because you have a Spectre and Sven. How much do you want to do? Yeah, that was a bit unlucky at Dendy.
By the way, for Dendy, he's got now one component of the boots coming his way. Either he's going for Midas, which I have not seen before, or this is the Gloves of Haste for the Power Tread. Yes. So it looks like he is going to be following the trend. He's bucking the previous Dendy build of just going straight into Magic Burst damage, playing around the ulti, and he is going to be playing a bit more aggressive. So expect him to finish the treads, go for the Dragon Lance, and then usually the BKB after.
TSA, they're gonna go for him at the bottom lane. Asco finally rotated. There we go. Nice Striker hits him though, and he's getting punished. TSA not even gonna die here. Just frozen solid. 6v3 will survive this onslaught. Dendy could not reposition himself in time. That was close. Regardless, punishing Puck is already good enough. When Dendy, I guess Puck was not expecting the rotation.
Supernova in trouble. He's got Ghost Shroud level 1, and Ladan with a very good Bramble Maze is gonna stop him from chasing anything further. Yeah, that's a big play, and Dendy actually, he's here with the 5-minute wave. We have the 1 point in the inner beast, and Helm is actually on the way, so this is a pretty serious push. Ascol decides to actually TP down bottom. I don't know, I think Dendy did this on purpose. I think he stuck around and pushed mid. Now that they've got the Fortify out, he's gonna clear this stack for a little bit of extra gold. Probably just head back into the mid lane, but he's super happy with what they've achieved down here.
Yeah, I think that I think the mistake honestly comes from Ascol, because if you look at his build, he has no infused raindrops, which made him really vulnerable to any of the phases, right? Usually against an SF, that is like a core item. I guess that you are ranged, that's why you don't want to waste the gold, but that greed ended up just nullifying him, because they got him last array, and the burst would not have been that strong from the raises if he had those range. So that gank by Dendy really good, but also Ascol playing life on the edge really, and gets punished for it.
Yeah. Really, really nice rotation by Dendy. Again, has to use the TP, but it's equalized when Ascol TP's down bottom because they think the push is coming. So very, very nicely done.
In fact, mirroring Puck's rotations is very difficult as an SF. You're not as agile as a rotator as he is. So the fact that you already accomplished that is a win in your favor, because now you can just farm mid with an SF really wants to.
Yeah. Yeah, they get 633, at least a little bit of experience in the mid lane. He gets like I think like 2 CS or something out of it, which is a lot for an AA, unironically. He needs to get these boots operational, of course. But the Sven already is going to be leaving the lane. Doesn't really want to play with these max cores and the Helm of the Dominator. Top lane, of course, it's too early for the Sven to make the rotation. And we haven't had any real pressure top lane either, only the kill into No Fear. Watson's still quite strong, doesn't really mind laning a bit longer. In fact, I suspect will be laning a little bit longer, having gone for the Soul Ring here. So just looking to spam Spectral Dagger and defend the, you know, making your own space, actively making your own space on the Spectre here. I really like that.
I agree. I think Watson this game is going to have to play a bit faster.
Is still here though, just being a little bit threatening. And of course, with the Treant Protector, taking down these towers is going to be a bit more difficult. We can see actually every single tier 1 tower is completely, not even a scratch on it, brand new. Mostly thanks to, of course, the lane pressure that Bait have drafted with, I would say, stronger lanes overall. A little bit of a case to be made down bottom for Fantastic 5. But now that Sven has already abandoned the lane and Beastmaster has gotten his first item, he's going to be just a big bully down here. Satyr Banisher picked up here early on as well for him, as he is going to be going straight into that Helm of the Dominator 2, or the Helm of the Overlord rather, just to make sure he can continue being as aggressive as possible here on the Beastmaster. But Limitless already doing the classic Beastmaster technique of booting the Sven into the triangle. Not as good as most other carries, because Sven doesn't really mind farming the triangle this early on compared to like a PA.
Top lane, they're trying to kill him. Reaver Scythe, and they will accomplish this. Watson is down for the count here. Supernova just wants to run away. Now in comes Dendy. They see the opportunity for No Fear. Are they being a bit too greedy, apparently? Yes, they were. Supernova has to tank all the raises. Dendy looking for the final raise. He finds it. Supernova will fall in the middle of his Ghost Shroud, as they also kill the Ancient Apparition in the bottom lane, thanks to the Helm of the Dominator. So kind of a nice win by Bait. Yes, they lose a Spectre, but honestly, Dendy is doing so well this early. He can just carry them early. Ascold looking for the counter kill here on No Fear. Finally, they worked so hard for this kill. They deserve it. They earned it, but No Fear is just a bit too fast. The Brown Mace, he doesn't bother. He likes being rooted. He's a tree. No Fear will just go back to his safe space with the salve and a clarity on him. He's going to be perfectly happy and alive.
Yeah, exactly. The kills, I mean, we said this all the time. This is something that Winter taught me when Spectre, we had Spectre faces Void like every single game back in the days. And it's something he taught me where you don't really need to kill Spectre so much as you need to kill the Space Maker for the Spectre. Spectre's not the problem in the early game. It's going to be this SF. So the fact that Watson does die is kind of sucks, especially because I think he's going to take a second death here. His team not on the same page. Then down he goes. Ice Blast committed. We are pushing mid in exchange for this. So that second death, you know, kind of contradicts my points here, because now that's just kind of a free kill out over to the Fantastic 5, as they will actually TP back and defend the mid tier 1 tower. But the fact that Dendy gets a bit more farm is going to be very, very nice here for Bates, as No Fear can threaten to go for the overgrowth, so they cannot defend the mid tier 1 tower. Top lane as well, currently being sieged. They have teleports if they want to go and actually defend it, but they're just going to let it fall.
Yeah, I think it's best, right? You don't want to contest this too much, as you've just been able to control the bottom side of the map. You're not really in the position to be able to all TP there. Necrophos is still a tough hero to kill, especially now that he has a Hood of Defiance. It's okay, there's no need to put extra pressure because you have Beastmaster anyway. You know the moment that, like, Beastmaster again is back to play the Brute rather light with this Helm of the Dominator build.
Yeah.
It's not like Necros, but it's the same idea. So you know the moment they leave him a bit too far in the bottom lane, you take the tier 2 for free. It's also very easy for Dire to do this, because the tier 2 for Radiant here in the safe lane is actually a bit weaker than the tier 2 Dire has in the safe lane because of the ward spots. So it's much easier for them to just take it, honestly, almost by accident, by pushing this lane with Beast.
He may be caught out here. He planted a ward pretty deep, so he is expecting to be safe here, but of course Fantastic 5 have snuck past that one with the smoke. So they could make a play here for Limitless. So yeah, so he's making the right play. He thinks he's safe here, tanking a smoke gank for himself or for the team. Not a bad play whatsoever. They will hunt in on this actually, and they're going for it. No Fear. They've committed even actually the overgrowth. There comes the terrorize, but unfortunately that's going to allow No Fear to outrun the Cold Feet. So a little bit of anti-synergy here between the two supports of Fantastic 5 is going to leave them with only the Beastmaster kill instead of potentially picking up as well the Treant Protector. But like you're saying about Broodmother Light, the benefit that the Beastmaster does bring you is he is a little bit more mobile, right? So you kill him down bottom, he goes, whatever, maybe I'll go top now, maybe I'll go mid. You don't know that. Whereas with Broodmother, you do know exactly where she is going to be going because of her reluctance to be moving. She's got to lay down her roots, so to speak, with the webs and start to set up map control. Beastmaster, not so limited. Ascult is going to see no fear yet again. Ice Blast is coming. He's going to try and outrun it. Unfortunately, will not be able to do so. TSA nearby, though. Ascult has phase shift. Going to use it to nicely dodge that, but not the Sonic Savage Roar.
Wow.
Picked up with a nice little Shadow Raise as well.
Sonic
out from
Savage
Dendi.
Roar.
Sonic Savage Roar. Primal Roar.
What he means to that is that it was so fast. It was such a fast Primal Roar
Well,
that
he,
it almost seemed supersonic.
It was a nice play from Bait because they kind of baited him, no pun intended, with the LSA to use the phase shift. As soon as the phase shift was out, straight into the Sonic Savage Primal Roar.
They go for the bottom lane now with a savage amount of creeps here. Together with a helmet dominating the two boars. He has already the little movement speed talent. He has to run away quickly. Didn't go for the damage you used to see actually on Beastmaster Uplink. Apparently much more of a utility Beastmaster in this game. I'm still surprised he's rushing the helmet of the Overlord. I did say it was good, but I didn't think this was the rush, but it's quite an expensive item. I guess you really are committing to this beast, quite literally the Beast Master build.
Yep. Dendi having already gotten the power treads, Dragon Lance, going for the casual Yasha now. So this is usually where you decide, do I want to go straight BKB, aka is it worth going to BKB this game? Is it going to save my life, etc., etc.? Or am I just going to be good with a Dispel?
Nope,
a little bit more damage. It's going to be for top, where they have connected it onto the Spectre, caught as well, and killed off by Ladon, the support duo that time working wonders. Ladon canceling the TP, because TSA was going to do it for him anyway. Laguna Blade committed here, terrorized, is going to find him, and actually, he should be able to escape.
Yep.
Nice kill there. Ladon escaping.
That's
little
very
hitman.
good. I mean, getting the Spectre alone and two supports is already I feel like even if you died, it was fine. And you even committed the Laguna for that. That's great for Fantastic 5. Small kills is the best way to use the ENG.
Very true. And real quick, 6-3 BCZ is not actually going for a super defensive build. He's going for the build that he likes to go for on the AA, which is earn usually Vessel as well, which is pretty valuable this game, but it's going to just leave him to die time and time and time again once Spectre is strong enough. So that's my one concern I have for this build, but it is a lot of damage.
I feel like this game, sorry, I feel like this game particularly, he will be food for both the Beastmaster and the Spectre, because Beastmaster can also just send his creeps on. It's not the greatest thing. I know he loves this build because I think he just picks AA because he hates healing. Done with this whole healing thing. And back in his day, people used to work hard for healing. Ring of Health healed much less. It was an expensive item. Nowadays, everyone has normal healing, so he just brings it back to zero with the Ice Blast Spirit Vessel build.
BCZ, oh, they're going for Spectre again.
They are, but I don't think that Ice Blast will hit.
Spectre, Watson getting out of that, getting out of that
super
game.
sad Ice Blast they used to just push the lane instead.
But 6-3 actually, he was going to retire, but then Ring of Terras came out, and Envy started buying one of those immediately, and then he's like, I have to come back. I have to stop this, as this time he will die.
Oh yeah, the double Ring of Regen and Envy was like BCZ's ultimate insult. Well, that's what it decided
well, before it was the Ring of Tarrasque, it was straight up Ring of Tarrasque, remember?
Yeah, it's true, it's true.
And then Ice Rock was like, Envy, stop it. And he's like, fine, I'll just go double Ring of Regen on literally every single hero I play.
And 6-3's like, no! I even emailed Ice Frog about this! Envy must be stopped! So that's why he's trying to go for the major. That's his real redemption story. It has nothing to do with the money.
Breaking news here at DTN2, of course, that there is that golden BZZ set, of course, in the treasure craft, and that earned him one favor with Ice Frog, and that's what he called in with. He says, remove Ring of Tarrasque. And Ice Frog went, are you sure? And he's like, yep.
Recoil plus Terrorize, that's a nice combo. The Ice Blast on top of that thing. Might still win. They used the vent left here, but not close enough. Ladon got stuck, and the Reckoning of Souls pushes them back. Nendy will for now survive as Ladon gets punished for this initiation. We still have the Reaper Sight here onto Supernova. They get a nice little light second ray onto 2. Reaper Sight will hit Watson, but in infused range ups, that will only give a couple more seconds to get away as the Ancient Creep finishes off Supernova. A bit too difficult to deal with some of the Overlord, and they're gonna try to kill the Ancient Creep finally, getting the gold they needed. In the end, honestly, kind of Fantastic 5 favorite just because of the Spectre kill towards the end. But Bait did a really good job of responding to this.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, absolutely.
is
I want to
under
draw
attack.
your attention to one thing here as well. Take a look at No Fear in this fight. He completely tanks the Sven. If he doesn't do that, Dendi is a dead man here. Very, very nicely done. On the Requiem as well, is going to be able to zone out the Puck who is trying to snipe him. And you can see Dendi can just walk away. Sven loses vision, and he's like, well, I guess that's not a kill I'm getting anymore. A good fight, especially because you still get 3 or 4 heroes here on the side of Bait in favor of Fantastic 5, but it could have been a team wipe there if it wasn't for this darn Train Protector. So a nice, very self-sacrificial play there out from the TP. As Bait, they're still very interested in continuing to fight here around the bottom area. You can see Dendi is TP'd immediately down to the bottom tier 1 tower. They want to just, I guess, secure their triangle as much as possible by continuing to siege down bottom. It should be noted as well here that Bait, they did win the priority in the coin toss here for the lobby, and they selected Dire's side. This is something we've seen time and time again here. So just a quick little note.
I think it's better, honestly, in the game. I think Dire is good. Because you have your triangle is just better, if I'm honest. And even if when you trade jungles, because you take raiding jungle, which is, it allows you to be more aggressive, but you can also keep your jungle by just committing a couple of wards. So if you really want to play aggressive with Dire, you completely ward raiding jungle and put out your resources. Right? If you want to play defensive, you actually have the chance to defend your own jungle despite losing map control. And of course, you always keep your triangle, which got buffed heavily for Dire. I don't think the Roshan advantage is enough anymore to justify Radiant. The win rate is very similar though. I was looking the other day, it was like 53%, 47% in favor.
Not too bad, yeah. Real quick, I just wanted to...
not the whole team.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out that Watson is a little bit behind the 8 ball here. He's had some pretty bad fights, 4 deaths, and they've ganked him here quite a few times. Will be able to de-ward his own jungle. But the nice part is Dendi is building like a carry this game. It's not previous Dendi SF where he just wants to burst people and then run away after he uses the ultimate. He's here to fight. And he's going to be ready quite soon as well, going for the BKB next item. We've also had a Beastmaster who is unusually strong as well, thanks to the Helm of the Overlord, as he's going to go ahead and borrow the Ancient Granite Golem. Now we've got a nice little 8%, 15%, bonus HP percentage, as well as a little bit of bonus armor for everyone.
Kind of insane. This is a great pushing line now. They're like, Bait's like, well, we don't need the Spectre. Spectre's just a safety, right? We're actually planning to win now, 4 versus 5.
Yeah,
and
smoke on smoke, though.
It might just
we've
work.
Got a Hawk. Yeah, we've got a Hawk. Nicely done. TSA is going to kind of reveal they have vision up there, and he's going to have to tank this one. Okay, Overgrowth is used, but it's not going to stop Ladon. In fact, you don't get caught by Overgrowth if you're in the Shadow Realm. Yep. So unfortunately, No Fear could not save his ally. The deep push is coming. In fact, Icebox is there, and they've used the vision to cancel the TP of the Beastmaster, utilizing that Dream Coil. And I think Fantastic 5, although this is a weird tower to push second, considering we still have the mid-tier 1 tower completely healthy, no, they're not. They're going to let the bottom tier 1 stand for now. I thought they were going to get rid of that to try and dissuade Bait from playing so aggressively in their jungle.
I actually agree with that play that you were mentioning, by the way, because that allows you to take over the Dire triangle, which is one of the advantages they have, right? And be able to do that. Of course, you still need to take the mid-tier 1 first, but if you're already close, why not, you know? Maybe they saw the Beastmaster units already dissuading this by just constantly pushing the lane. It's very difficult to kill this Black Dragon. He's great at deep pushing.
Oh yeah.
Especially in the early game.
Yeah, if you forget how annoying these Ancient creeps are, just remember the patch when they first added Magic Immunity to Ancients and everyone was picking Lifestealer and just jumping inside. Yes, it's like that. It's like that, but a little bit worse because Helm of the Overlord does buff them a little bit.
I like this, by the way. They ended up taking the middle tower without too much trouble. I thought Bait could have defended this, but I guess they just... Fantastic 5 heard this a bit better than us, and they thought, okay, we are just much stronger right now. Like, if Bait can't really fight us, the Spectre's not ready, whereas Sven can sort of join fights. One of the advantages he has over more of the late game carries, that he doesn't rely on... He has more of a incremental increase rather than big burst like Spectre. So Spectre can sort of join in as long as God's strength is off cooldown.
Very true, very true. And a real quick note, in case you just have been watching a lot of Dota and haven't been playing a lot of Dota, Silver Edge no longer requires a mid lane. Oh, they got him. Committing 2 ultimates there, but a kill well worth it, because that's the Space Maker. Right now, Bait cannot take a fight without Dendi. He's even double tipped.
Yeah, everyone's tipping in. But look at what Limitless is doing, though. He pushes the bottom lane. He's like, he recognizes, I can't fight, but at least I'll be able to take a tower for you. And a Solar Breath on top of this, which helps him push a lot faster. Yes, you're going to lose the Roshan, but this Roshan is not going down that fast. And Limitless will be able to create space, taking advantage of this wasted time. Well, not wasted time, this employed time.
Yeah, no, this is Bait immediately having a plan B, right?
Yes.
And this is something that we've been critical of not only their previous iteration of Bait 4.0, but also Bait 5.0 towards the start of the season.
Much more so their previous. It was worse before.
This time, we can see a major improvement as well, with Limitless immediately pushing bottom, taking over the jungle yet again, going for a quick D-ward, taking the outpost, and they're even going to smoke up and perhaps look for a fight. Dendi is a bit weak right now, though. He needs to get these 8 extra souls so he can actually,
under
do
attack.
damage as a right clicker that he's carried for, or that he's built for. But luckily, Fantastic Five are not farming, I suppose, really, the Mud Golem creeps on the way back out. So Dendi will be back up to 20 in no time flat here. So we could look for a fight here, despite having Aegis. We just don't have any ultis right now for Fantastic Five, and that's what's keeping them. That's what's keeping Bait at least interested in perhaps fighting here. But they've missed their window. Dream Coil and et al. Is going to be back up relatively shortly, so I think they're just going to have to concede this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, not much you can do to... I mean, no Fear will at least annoy this, right? Without the Meteor Hammer, he's not the best at cutting wings anyway.
Yeah.
This sucks though, because now you do lose control over the Dire jungle, and I feel like once you lose the tier 2, even if you ward it effectively, it's no longer possible. And there's nothing that... Like, Fantastic Five is just conditioned to stay here. There's no reason why they would want to go back to their own jungle. So just stay here, defending as much as possible, put wards, put a lot of pressure, and even maybe go to the high ground apparently. Is Rari? Godstring is not available for another 15 seconds, but with Aegis and BKB, I guess just feels really cocky.
They're not going to scare Bait back like this, though, because we have Treant Protector. Like, obviously, you're not going to push up our high ground right now. We don't care if you do chip damage, because we literally have Treant Protector. Like, they don't care. They don't care. This is time wasted. Yeah, so they should try and kill Limitless instead, who is doing the same thing. And he's going to hit with the Ice Blast, Dream Coil, and taken down. Big kill. It goes to 633, though, and that's nice. You don't want any more bonus gold to Askhold, and here's why. After that kill onto mid for Dendi, as he was going for the BKB next, it does slow down his BKB timing. Now he's really, really strong. Dendi is quite strong at this stage of the game. Sven is still going to melt him if he can get on top of him, but ideally you don't let that happen. He's going to be strong until Askhold gets this Ags, and then Dendi is going to kind of feel the pain a little bit more here as here's Limitless cutting waves, and yeah, Askhold is going to struggle here. But so we need to get this Ags up for Puck, and then I think they can actually look to make a push here, because this Watson, he's recovering the farm a bit now, but he is underwhelming, Albo.
He is. He had to go for like a fast Spectre build with a Manta style plus Blade Mail. Blade Mail does boost up your farm a fair amount, but it's just not Radiance, right? He's not going to beat the Sven ever. Like, you're talking about a mediocre farmer at best with a Spectre Blade Mail compared to a Sven. Might be the best.
Yeah. If there's something I can really commend Fantastic Five for, it's taking fights in good positions. Because if you take a fight in a bad way this game and allow Spectre to get, an extra 200 to 400 to maybe even, like, after a good fight, 600 gold for a simple little haunt in and just playing, clean up duty, this is what happens to Spectre if she's not allowed to do that. So, and Bait have a good lineup to actually achieve this. They just haven't been able to string together the fights against Fantastic Five. So really, really nicely done here. They've done a great job of not only drafting, but also so far playing against the Spectre.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, again, Fantastic Five went just for the simple draft, which is something that we actually saw issues with, right, in the beginning of the leagues, where they were going for something very convoluted, not even basic. Like, they tried to go for, like, meta drafts that were working, but very hard to execute, no comfort picks. I feel like now they're finding their own style, which might not be the most flashy, but if it works for you, it works, right? Stop trying to imitate other people. I'm now starting to see a Fantastic Five really coming into their own and looking much more like IPG last season, which was a team that didn't get the results they were looking for sure, but didn't play bad Dota at any point. Yeah,
and Fantastic Five, part of me wants to say, I feel like we should get more done with this Aegis. We took a top tier 2 tower out of this. We've got control of the Dire jungle, making it a lot scarier for Bait to be farming here. You're very confident at the way this game is going, because even the Necro at this stage is still managing to keep farm with, keep equal farm, I should say, with Watson, the Spectre. So I think this is totally fine. If Spectre has, as much farm as, say, as the Puck, or maybe even trying to catch up to the Sven, I think you do want to play this a little bit differently for Fantastic Five, but they're still going to be pretty strong here, even after this Aegis expires. So they definitely respect the teamfight that Bait has, especially because they can very easily nuke just about anyone, as we have another mouse problem for Bait. This is something that actually we see a lot out from them, I want to say. They paused quite a few times for mouse. I know Knoxville is not keeping stats for pause reasons, but I would probably, like, what, 80% of their pauses have been for mouse?
Yeah, Dendi's pet is just all over the place.
Really?
He can never catch. He always gets out of the cage. It's always like mouse. Like, look, this you think is mouse problem, but actually means mouse probably. Because I don't know. I can hear like some squeaking around, but I don't know what's happening, and then he has to go catch it. Yeah, it's a big difficulty.
Dendi, I'd like to think, in the Dota 2 sitcom, this is like the Netflix pitch here. You've got Dendi. He names his pet mouse Puppy. And he goes, oh, yes, do you want to come see my puppy? And everyone goes, yes, yes. And then it's a mouse. So he goes, oh.
I thought I was going to get to see the Estonian Dota player. What is this? They get so angry. Hey, I hear that Dendi sometimes he likes talking to it as if it was Puppy. He gives him a little mask,
Yeah, it's like rubber rubber duck decoding or debugging, right? He talks to the puppy mouse in the draft.
So then he finally found the mouse. That's good. That's why he's currently nesting him in his hands. That's why it's no fear, who has to say. So Bait now back and ready. Dendi. Honestly, the build is working for them. And one thing that I like to mention about the physical damage SF, that the reason why it's become so popular is because this hero is just much more consistent when you play him with physical damage, honestly. The magic damage SF, even the best players had a hard time against obviously really good pros, because if they manage to outplay you, you're screwed. And this SF just needs to hit. So at least you have that security that into the mid late game, you have relatively good cores that can somewhat deal with the Sven. And if you can just survive long enough, they'll eventually match the enemy team who's going for a more 4-1 draft, just by the nature of the Sven. And ideally 3 heroes versus 1, just itemized against the Sven. You could take this in the late. Fantastic Five though is in the driver's seat as it stands right now.
They are, and they recognize it. You can see Askold is going to pick up a gem here, actually, in the inventory. So, potentially a game-ending item. You know, this is something that you use to kind of start your end-game squeeze. And I really like this from Fantastic Five. It's really clean Dota. You can see that we're about to lose a lot of vision for Bait, and that's going to make it more difficult for the Spectre, who's already had a rough game. You know, it's going to remove more confidence from just jumping into these fights, sniping the AA, and then immediately knowing your next target. Without vision, it's really hard to play this game, unsurprisingly, especially for the Spectre. So we'll see how this one is going to go. Once again, though, AA, made out of paper, is now finally building this Glimmer Cape, has the Shadow Amulet already in the inventory, so potentially he can bait out Spectre trying to kill him. We've got Lotus Orb for the Necrophos. But then the item I wanted to quickly point out is he's got S and Y on top of Dragonlance, Power Treads, and BKB. Quite a tanky SF. You know, this is not the SF that is going to die to your Blade Mail. This is an SF that might be able to just kind of sit through a full duration Dream Coil, even one that is upgraded by the Aghanim Scepter. This DD rune on Puck, though, that's a bit of a different story. So I think Bates, if they've scouted this, are not going to be wanting to look for a fight at this stage.
Solar Crest also helps a lot in that sense. Gives him the damage so he can actually fight back, and also, of course, the armor, which helps him survive the TSA. They don't find him in time. Super Nightmare tries to slow him. Brown Blaze misses Dendi, and so does the Terrorize. So they know Ladon wasted, well, yeah, wasted a really, really useful ultimate, the Terrorize. Dream Coil Terrorize combo has been the bread and butter Fantastic Five, because it's a very reliable and easy to use initiation. Now failing it, as Bait create more and more time for themselves. Like, Spectre is getting online. It's taking her a while, but she's making it there. She's still close to Scotty. Sven will eventually run out of slots, and that's when she starts to catch up.
I mean, you're right. It kind of sounds like a meme, but at this stage, that's kind of how you have to not really be thinking, but that's how you have to be approaching it. All right, Watson, we've kind of lost our early opportunity. Oh, no fear. All right, well, down he goes. Watson, yeah, I was about to say, it's not worth your life. Get out of there. Oh, no, Watson, please. Oh, he's going to go for it. He's got wards here, but Askold should be, yeah, very keen to deward here very quickly, but Watson even more keen to get the extra 100 gold or so from the camp. Careful here, though. Dendi is playing underneath a ward, just looking to accelerate his farm as well. He's quite farmed, mind you. And actually, so is Limitless. Limitless is incredibly farmed. Gem, Solar Crest, Blink Dagger, as well as this Helm, too. Nearly a full BKB. He's only one component away, so we've got a lot of farm on this offlane Beastmaster. Sorry, it's really just Watson who's still lagging behind, unfortunately.
Are fortified.
See, if he can recover eventually. I mean, the advantage of Spectre is, of course, can farm in a very precarious position as the carry, so even when you're lagging behind, you don't always force Bait to give you all the safe farm. You can actually find, as we said, creating your own space. Of course, him doing this constantly for his team, because he knows Beastmaster Nest eventually to be farmed, makes him so he can't really catch up as easily. I think it'll be better in, like, as the game goes along. It's just really tough right now. They managed to avoid team fights really well. I'm surprised they haven't gone for a Meteor Hammer though on the tree to help out this.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
we didn't
poor,
see.
though,
we didn't see Zayats pick it up either, and I think they probably would if Meteor Hammer was a little bit better in team fights. But for now, I think it's mostly to do because you already had Limitless already kind of doing the split pushing, so it would have been kind of a wasted item for Treant Protector. I think saving for the Blink Dagger instead, even though you're super far away from it, is going to be a bit more of an impactful item than the Meteor Hammer would be. Because, I mean, we've seen lots of split pushes here, just with the Ancient Creep. All right, that was Phase Shift used. We've got the Blink here on Limitless, but a little bit too close to the high ground, so they're not willing to make an aggressive dive that far. But a nice smoke, actually, and they're going to refresh the smoke. Bait very, very eager to look for a fight here. They know that there's no Aegis. Roshan is going to be respawning here relatively quickly, so Fantastic Five may not be ready for a fight coming their way.
That's true. It is kind of a surprise smoke to a degree. Can you really get a kill? I mean, like, I don't think you're looking for a fight though. You're looking maybe for a pickoff, taking advantage of the Primal Roar. I feel like a fight here is a bit too difficult for those fights, even if they get the initiation up. They're just not in the greatest position. You have Haunt, and theoretically Spectre should fight.
Radiant's bottom
Watson
tower
needs a
is
Scotty.
under
I think
attack.
Sven's just gonna
Dire's middle tower is under
engage
attack.
in that fashion.
Dendi now still saving up money. Usually the next item I see in this progression is either the Force Staff and a Hurricane Pike or Satanic for the SF. So Satanic probably not as good this game because of course we have the AA, but I think Hurricane Pike might be good. I like it too, especially because it gives you the Dispel. That's kind of one of the trade-offs that I think does end up making Manta style a little bit more of a potential item is the Dispel. Oh my goodness, Rari just going for a DD rune, so why not? TSA is going to at least get the Yule Scepter off onto Askel, but won't be so lucky versus Rari, as he will be cut down mid-TP. Ice Blast. Oh, Spectre's got to snap the coil, but that's a long stun thanks to the Aghanim Scepter now. Overgrowth ready to go. Can they save the Spectre? No. Rari pops the BKB there to dispel the Overgrowth. Will now run right at No Fear. He will be the third to fall. And Fantastic 5, I like this play quite a bit. They, you know, quick little DD rune and just immediately looking for a fight.
That's insane. Fantastic 5. Just first now, Watson. I don't know why he was still farming there though when the enemy team just finished off the Lina. They now in a really precarious position as the Sen is pushing down at least one later rack. Could be two, frankly, with the double damage. And the God Strength is, it's not too much God Strength left, so maybe you just wait until the next, you take the Roshan and you wait until the next onslaught where the God Strength is available again. This Roshan also carries the Shard as well, which could be kind of useful for, honestly, you can give it to this fan. I can imagine the spell being kind of nice here, and with the Yulsa.
Yeah.
Maybe the Puck.
Maybe the Puck. Necro's already got his.
So does AA.
Yeah, PC's already got his. Yeah, probably.
I mean, the cooldown reduction on this fetch.
Yeah. Then Vader smoking, but they're going to be too late. They're too late. And Blink Daggers are going to be canceled there by the Ice Vortex. Ice Blast is coming. Oh no, they're all in a choke point. 3 heroes hit by the Ice Blast. Puck immediately ready to chase. Dream Coil at the ready as well. But they, with the ward here, have some semblance of confidence. Oh, a little bit too much confidence there for TSA. He tried to double back with his team at least. Oh, he's going to eat the... he bought back though, didn't he?
No, that was 3% extra time. Oh no, he did buy back. You're right.
Yeah,
the buyback extra time plus 3% extra time. Jesus.
Yeah, that's why they used it. Yeah, that's why they used it there. I feel like onto the Lina.
Yeah, because now you know she can't really defend. She's one of the best defenders that you actually have for this high ground. Now Dream Predator's dead as well. What's gonna help your tower? The port defenseless tower can't run away.
It's under attack.
No, he cannot. And God Strength is ready to go for another fight. Rari, of course, picking up the Aghanim Shard. Aegis going on over to the Puck, and Cheese for Supernova. And, okay, there's the roar in. Dendi going for the ultimate, and there's the blink on in. Sven has been nuked down. They didn't give him Aegis. Supernova, he might be in a bit of trouble as well, as Askel is going to have to use that Jaunt to get out of trouble. Supernova back up to full HP, as they will at least stun up the Spectre and keep her locked down by the Brambles. Askel with Aegis still looking to fight, but Dendi blinking on in, surprising everyone with the Blink Dagger. Terrorize is going to connect. Curse Crown as well to stun him up. But Supernova, a little bit of an awkward position. Beastmaster looking to try and do some damage. Popping the BKB as No Fear does not hit anyone there on the Overgrowth. Your Scepter is going to be there for now. Supernova. Dendi with another volley of raises is going to be able to assist Watson in the kill. Another stun here for No Fear. As this time, Puck, I think, finally realizing that we've got to get out of this fight. They've blown up Sven. We have no sustained damage. Bait will hold on to their high ground for now.
That was impressive. Dendi quite literally carrying the team in that initiation. Like, I like the combination though, because they understand that Dendi deals more damage than Watson right now, so Watson is quite literally just tanking. He used the Haunt to force the backline to, well, to disable the backline essentially, because they couldn't join in the fight in time. And by the time the Wrecking Souls was out, then the poor Sven was dead already. So well done by Bait here, acknowledging that they do have 2 carries, playing accordingly to plan. Also acknowledging that Fantastic 5 kind of now fully into full protect 1. All the cores from Fantastic 5, despite the fact that they're winning, actually have less net worth than the cores in Bait, with the exception, of course, of the Sven. So this is giving Bait a little bit more flexibility in the team fights, and it's showing. I mentioned this earlier, I didn't think it would happen this fast, but Bait were taking advantage of their strengths here really well. I wonder if they could still bring this back. I mean, Spectre is now a hero.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're totally right with this Eye of Scotty, even going next for the Nullifier. So guess what, AA? We're coming for you. Nothing is going to save you. Glimmer Cape? Nope, never heard of it. Ghost Scepter? I don't think so. I don't believe in ghosts. Although Spectre is also kind of a ghost, so that'd be a little bit weird. But either way, it's going to be a lot of damage here on the Nullifier. Spectre is absolutely a hero at this stage. Finally managed to outfarm Ascult as well as Supernova after that fight. I would say at this stage, the biggest difference makers, other than, of course, the core versus core matchup, is going to be the Aghanim Scepter for Ascult here on the mid lane. Puck unable to really find a good usage there of the ulti that time because he was, I think, Yule Sceptered up, and the supports being very, very poor on the side of Bates. That's going to make a little bit of a difference here. We've got like at least one core item for Arlena, but we can see Treant Protector really struggling to get off good overgrowth at this stage of the game because he can't just hide in trees anymore, not when we've got gems and lots of detection for Fantastic Five. Master able to break the smoke there, nicely done.
Well, access to break the smoke. He's close to the Primal Roar cooldown, by the way. It's going to make a difference. I'm assuming that's the talent he's going to go for. I mean, I do like the board damage considering the build he went for, but I feel like Primal Roar cooldown.
The board damage potentially being the alternative.
Yeah, it's like decent if you want to keep pushing,
taken.
But the ultimate is much better.
But yeah, I'd agree with Albo here. I think that's going for the cooldown there on the ultimate is nice, and I think it's relevant enough, that cooldown, not to be super wasted like the Pango 25 talents here.
Exactly. I feel like Primal Roar
they're pushing up to the high ground here. Rari using the ultimate. They've already gotten the tier 2 tower down. We've got to fortify up for Bates, but they've got all their spells ready to go. Dendi ready to make the jump on in, but this time I think they have the counter initiation ready for him. Of course, only the Dream Coil able to go through the BKB this time around. Instead, Beastmaster making the jump in. Does not want to roar himself, however, so they will be able to back off. And again, we're so close to this Treant Protector blink. I'd say at this stage, No Fear, sell the Blink Dagger and sorry, sell the wand and get the Blink Dagger.
Oof, I don't know. I think the wand is too valuable. Just hold it out. I agree with No Fear's greed. I think you should just be able to apply the Blink Dagger. You have Ninja Gear, by the way, on Fate, I want to mention. Huge buff for the Spectre, who honestly gets a free, insane item for an agility carry, just based off a bit of luck. That's huge for Bait, because that gives him a lot more viability here into this late game. You could have given to the SF, but I think Quiver's better if he wants to burst down heroes. And now you have two relatively tanky heroes. The Ninja Gear, yes, the damage is nice, but it's the armor against Sven that's going to be so important here. Spectre. Yeah. Usually not a hero that builds armor or stats in general, to be honest. Oh, or agility in general.
Yeah, this game not quite, of course, but lots of damage. Manta style, Scotty, of course, helping out a bit. So lots of armor here. 35, 34, lots of armor. We'll not discuss my math skills here on stream. But Rari,
what just happened? Just
already level 25, so he's taking that God Strength talent, of course. Has Satanic ready to go as well as the Paladin Sword, but he's not currently equipping the Echo Saber. So good burst damage and lots of healing, but maybe not quite the one-shot Sven that perhaps they need at this stage. We'll see. Of course, Watson just continuing to farm. Can always haunt back into the fight as soon as his team needs him. Going for the Basher, probably into the Abyssal here a little bit later. Actually going to be holding on to Minotaur Horn by the looks of it. Oh,
could be in a difficult position. He did get the BKB off, though. Recubus ult does nothing to him. Dendi just wasting that ultimate on Rari. Now has to just manfight it to the death. Can they get him? Yes, they will. Rari will fall, but in exchange for Watson, who's been destroyed by the Reaper side. They catch him to Limitless as well. He's fairly tanky, but not tanky enough to deal with a Bedlam and the Puck. And they even send Dendi flying here, but they can't follow up Bait. However, losing their carry, a big deal, and potentially losing Limitless a second time. How greedy will Fantastic 5 be here? Apparently quite greedy, and they can get away with it. Limitless, literally a dive back here, and this might just be GG for them.
What was the jump in? No Fear, No Fear he didn't just die, did he? I think Sven just kind of running up to the high ground. Was it Ascult?
No Fear did just die. Yeah, they hit him with the Stormhammer, and he just walked up and died. He was a bit out of position, his team was very far behind. And by the time he used Requiem, the BKB was already up. That completely crushed them. I mean, that Requiem was not a bad idea, but the BKB just came up. It was hard to tell. And because he had God Strength on top of that, he was already really big, Sven. Look at this. Mega Creep Supernova is even meaning here.
Dendi has a DD rune. I don't know if it'll make that much of a difference. The BKB up soon, as actually they're going to look to jump him instead, but Ascult actually hit with a stun. Dendi in a lot of trouble, pops the BKB, gets at least the Ice Blast damage to be ignored, but he still has the debuff on himself. Ascult using the Yule Scepter. Actually, that was TSA's Yule's. Dendi, oh, he's going to die! That's the dieback Supernova, blinking on in with the Shiva's Guard as well, doing plenty of damage. Dendi without buyback. back here, and they're considering diving the fountain for no fear, but the GG will be called. It's going to be Fantastic 5 taking game number 1.
Playing out a respectable play, or respectable game by Fate. They played good Dota. Their draft was solid as well for the most part. The issues, though, is that Spectre was more of the secondary option here compared to the Sven. Sven
car, driving so far, play your guitar, you show me your wrong. Let down our guards, think with our hearts, stare at the stars, we were never apart. Drinking too young, way too much fun, out in the sun, hoping when it's gone. Took you to prom, dance to our song, dance all night long till the lights come on. It's too late now, I remember everything, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. And how careless. Late nights, long fights, it felt right, we were alive. We would go out, we were so loud, we were so proud, we had no doubts. Weekends and weekdays, we'd spend our own way. We were careless, we were fearless, we were reckless, time was precious. We loved to waste time, whiskey and wine, drinking all night, asleep by your side. Finally alive, we would just drive, never arrive. Our journey was live, staying out late, testing our fate, running away. We live for today, young and so bold, never get old. Screw what we're told, we can't be controlled.
careless we got. It's too late now. I remember you and me. And how careless we.
It's too late now. I remember everything and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. And how careless we could be.
Too late now. I remember you and me. And how careless we could be.
Turn to ban.
Wanting to
5 seconds remaining.
like in the beginning.
I'm going to do a
Dire
short
team
intro.
back.
Let's take a look at some heroes, and yeah, don't worry, I know. Bit of music.
Radiant team
Welcome back, everyone, to our Battleship broadcast F5
Dire
versus
team
B8.
back.
We had one hit here already of the 2 required to win. We'll see if Bates are going to be able to strike back here and get a couple hits as well here on the Fantastic 5. Hoping for a 3-game series, because I do think these teams are quite close in their play levels and in kind of their skill as well to some degree.
10
But
seconds
I think it is going to
remaining.
come down to the draft. And for our draft, we need some heroes. So that is going to be
5
what our
seconds
stats is going to be talking to us
Radiant
about,
team
letting us know
back.
about some of the top heroes here for each member of both teams. Without further ado, I yield the floor to you, Mr. Avostats.
Dire team.
Thank you, Richie. Here we get the top
Radiant team
heroes for teams. We get them actually from their Dota buffs, so it's what they play, not necessarily the competitive experience. So this shows a bit more of their personal choices for the hero. Last week we already got to talk about Bait. Let's talk a bit of Fantastic 5. Fantastic 5, Rari stands out for his Lifestealer playstyle. He's actually been doing it both last season and this season. This season, Lifestealer being buffed really helps Rari.
10
His Sven is still
seconds
incredible, however. He likes heroes, particularly his strength carries. He's played CK as well a
5
bit, and
seconds
he just likes
remaining.
heroes that he can play. Don't rely on a single item, right? When he played Wraithing, for example, last season, sometimes he struggled because he actually wanted to go for Armlet as a later build a bit more often. Sven and Lifestealer are a bit better because they're more incremental heroes, and of course, them being strength allows him to go YOLO much more often. We look at Asgold. He's just a spirit player. He's also really good on the Storm Spirit. I mean, his Void Spirit is insane. Honestly, kind of as good as Lorenov, so not much to be said there. Supernova really stands out for his Underlord playstyle. Despite the fact that he's called Supernova, he's only played Phoenix once in both seasons of the DPC, but he has played Underlord a fair amount. It actually could have been a pick last time, but he's been practicing Necrophos because I was actually trying to watch his games. He's been practicing a fair amount of Necrophos recently as he fulfills similar roles to Underlord, right? Tanky, he brings a bit more healing and a bit more catch. In the case of Underlords, a bit more AoE stuns, and of course the percentage damage that Supernova loves so much. For Ladon, much like actually TSA, because he actually does play this in competitive a lot, they both play a lot of Willow, but Ladon in his last season was playing 5-4, and he used to be playing a lot of Tuskar, a lot of Clockwork specifically, because he likes these tanky heroes he can make plays on. This season, they actually added the Willow to his repertoire, because now he's consistently playing 4, and he can also play heroes like Rubik, a bit more of the ranged 4s. However, his Clockwork and Tusk are still kind of the bread and butter for the player, at least in competitive. And finally, Bizzles, we have seen him play Ancient Apparition almost every game, and whenever that's not possible, Snapfire. Is there much to be said about this? He likes dominating the lane, he likes dealing a bunch of damage, he used to play Maiden Carry, he's used to these heroes that can have a huge impact, even if they can die easily, right? So even though he has played Enchantress in these kind of sacrificial cores, he's much more well-suited to the bursty Snapfire or the strong AA. For Bait, we went over these guys last week, but let's go over some of the important ones. Limitless Darkseer really stands out, particularly in the competitive, as they kind of force us to pick a punch, which combines well with Watson when he plays the Wraith King. That's a little combination Bates likes to run very often. TSA on top of the line, Tiny. His Dark Willow also stands out, played a lot last season with Bait, despite the hero being out of meta. And No Fear has had some really good performances with the ET, particularly. Does love the Grimstroke, but can also play a very solid Disruptor or Enchantress. He plays Enchantress in a very unique position where he actually plays it more like a physical damage support, which is very interesting to see, as opposed to sacrificial support we see from like MSS, for example, from Quincy Crew. Sorry, SVG from Quincy. So Bait, they like to run supports that are sometimes a bit greedier, which kind of interferes with Watson's farm, but usually Limitless can make up for this. Now, let's see what they pick for this specific game, as we're right into the draft. We're back with Richie.
Yes, indeed, everyone. Let's just jump right into our draft here as it's already developing here. The second banning phase already completed. I did just want to, again, highlight the amount of offlaners that Fantastic 5 had decided to ban. There's a couple more actually available in the pool. Bait as well, going to the Clockwork. I believe there was a particular Saksa game that maybe inspired a couple of captains and teams alike to try this hero, maybe give him a second chance, because I have not personally seen a whole lot of him throughout the season, Habo.
Yeah, I was just talking about, or sorry, Avostats was just talking about it, right? Ladon played a lot last season. This season he hasn't picked it at all, just going for more traditional 4 roles. I like it as a 5 a lot. I think we actually have seen No Fear play it once, by the way. This game, it seems like it's going to be a 4 clocker to get a Trim Protector. This can have a lot of weaknesses, though. You have 2 melee supports, not the easiest thing, right? This can actually be countered easily by heroes like Puck, for example. The Phoenix, for example, is really good against these kind of combos. Your lanes might struggle, but luckily, Trim Protector and Clockwork are good enough laners that I think help for it. Fantastic 5 could take advantage of this. They already have 3 ranged heroes. Makes the laning much easier.
Yes, it does. It does make the lane pretty easy for them, and I think that's going to be kind of the name of the game here from Fantastic 5. It worked for them last time around, and this time I kind of liking where their draft is going yet again. I think Askold on the Puck is a nice hero for him. He usually likes to play some melee mid laners, in fact, your Embers, your Pango especially, and the Spirits. But on the Puck, he's, you know, even though it might not be his favorite hero, at least off of his pubs, he does really well on it, making a lot of space and even able to hold the zone versus Dendi pretty nicely. Dendi, though, of course, still showing his prowess, still showing his experience. I think a little bit better when it comes down to the rotation game. But, of course, that's something that comes with experience.
We'll see what Bait has to do to mitigate this. I'm interested in seeing the carry pick, particularly for this game. I feel like last game, Watson could really show his full prowess here, and they made it... It was very difficult for them to play with the fact that they never quite got online. This time, more Trim Protector Clockwork, your drafts have been more flexible. These heroes do help out, honestly, most carries in that sense and bring a lot of initiation to the pool. So you can go for more of a mid-game carry, like, say, the Trolls, which I know Watson has found. Maybe the Morphling could even be a possibility, since the Ancient Apparition is not going to be the option for that 5, so unless they play him as like a core or something. Oh no, actually never mind, he's been banned. I was wondering why you didn't pick it on BCC. Yeah, so I think the Morphling could be a potential idea for Bait. They want to run it. Not crazy, honestly, against what the squishy heroes Fantastic 5 is running.
Look at that. It's like sometimes our research and statistics we show on stream are actually based in facts. Would you take a look, though? Of course, just banning out BZZ, like you're saying, in the first phase, but the only 2 bans you get in the first phase as well. So Bait recognizing the strength there, but they're going to pull out another BZZ here with the Grim. Okay, so Beastmaster yet again for Limitless. I thought he played an excellent game. The issue I had, and I was actually going to bring this up, but we did have to throw it to break, was that it felt like the Treant Protector, because of the playstyle of the Beastmaster, didn't really fit a good role in the draft, you know, because you do kind of pick the Beastmaster and the Treant Protector kind of for the same purpose, but Tree just couldn't really do that. He couldn't farm the jungle, he couldn't push the other lanes because Bait had no intention of holding on to those lanes, so he just didn't farm. He stacked and he was warding as best as he could, but it just left the hero without really anything to do. So that's my one concern for this game here for No Fear, but he's gone back to it a second game in a row, so hopefully they have a better plan for it this time around, as they'll throw Dendi onto the Leshrac.
Okay, I like this idea against PA for the most part. Like, this matchup is a bit difficult sometimes for Lesh, because of course if PA bursts you before you can deal all your damage to exist with Lesh, but at the same time, because you have damage that always pierces that evasion, if you can catch it with the Primal Roar, there are options for Bait. It is something that we haven't seen Dendi play too much. He has played it once or twice, but I think Dendi... I wonder what Watson's pick is going to be. I didn't love the Lifestealer pick, to be honest, that Fantastic 5 just banned. Wraithking seems like a Watson hero. I honestly still don't mind the Morphling. I think the Morphling is still... I mean, I know PA can technically burst you, but I feel that you can do the same. You have a good draft for magical damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious, because if you go Morphling, it's really tempting to go for, like, Shotgun Morph. Let's see what they do. They will go for the Morphling. Okay. I agree with you, because you can completely shut down the PA early game, especially if you want to go E-Blade pretty much straight away. But I think there's a case to be made to go for perhaps a little bit more of a carry style, or maybe try and split it 50-50.
Like the stats Morphling, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't do that, then I think you're going to be extremely explosive early on. But if you don't just kill this PA and Puck and take pretty much control of the entire game and play it fast, you do set yourself up for a pretty difficult late game. The power curves of, like, you know, having magic damage dealers versus physical damage dealers, like, you want physical into the late game as you get more and more items to kind of make magic a little bit weaker, but you still want to have that mix, especially early on. Dendi should give you enough of this and the tower pusher and press as well, and there's the Slardar pick for Fantastic 5, as we can see them go for a bit more physical damage to help them scale and boost Rari's damage in fights.
This combination of Slardar PA is always really strong. I think these lineups are looking better. And sorry, yeah, these I don't mean these specific the anti-armor lineups, you know, the armor reduction lineups as it used to be called, was very popular back in there. I remember Goblak used to run these lineups a lot back in the Nowadays, they're kind of reviving. I don't know if you saw yesterday, NA was playing really clowny match between Sad Boys and Undying.
I've seen the stats from that match, something like 28 deaths on someone.
Yeah, I got the pleasure of casting that match and watching Moo die 27 times real time. But that was actually a match where they run a very similar strat with a Slardar as well, right? The minus armor strat here. And with PA it works great. Slardar is a great laner against Morphling. The combo of Slardar and Dark Willow is very much abused by teams like Liquid. They love this combo as well. So honestly, good trap on Fantastic 5. I feel like Bait is... They're mixing and matching a bunch of heroes and it kind of works, but I feel like they're responding and Fantastic 5 is proposing. And I like the Fantastic 5 a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good way of putting it. Like Fantastic 5, they may be taking a lot of inspiration from other regions, to put it nicely, for sure. But Bait, they're trying to do their own thing, and I think if they can get away with it, it'll work. But Fantastic 5 are bringing some real tried and true strategies to the table here, and Bait having to try and mix it up, kind of have to try and play to the weaknesses of Fantastic 5, I think, rather than to their own strengths.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like you do have... since you picked the counter draft, it's kind of the only option you really have. I feel like your lineup is still strong in itself. There just isn't the incredible amount of synergy. There's a combo or anything.
Yeah. I agree. That's not what I say. I don't think they have a weak draft, but they're drafting to play. Ideally, their timing is like slightly before PA has got her trio of items that she needs to fight, right? And then you can kind of go and push here a little bit faster. You've got decent late game as well with the Morphling. Don't get me wrong, but again, it's harder to play these Morphling type of heroes. Your Bloodseekers, not so much the Bloodseeker actually. Your Morph, your Weaver is another big one. Basically just these two I can think of. It's hard to play into unpredictable damage, right? And we've got a lot of that.
Okay.
With the crits out from the PA, stuff like that, right?
Rari just did the GG well play. That's not why they paused. They paused because of voice chat. Not on the mouse this time, but Rari almost just GG'd the game straight up.
Well, and that's it. They've sunk their battleship. That's the game,
What a great game, Bait. Awesome game number 2. Beautiful series. We go into game number 3. No. Obviously, when it's the... apparently, from what I know from the rules, if it's the voice line and it's like this and they immediately cancel it and they say it, it's okay. If you actually do type the GG, you have to respect it. Because rarely does that happen by accident, right?
It's... I'm sure the admin is just going to very quickly...
gloss over it.
Yeah, just hey, just don't do this again, you know, sort of thing, and a little slap on the wrist potentially. But yeah, it's normally not enforced that much. I think it's fine, you know. If PPD was in this game, you know, he'd type the GG back and disconnect and get ready to go game 3.
Yeah, he's like, I already abandoned. I can't join back.
I can't join back. I can't join. And then no, you have to remake. Admin, you have to remake and break the rule if you want me to reconnect.
Oh wow, that's very true. That would totally be something good
too. He's a competitor.
Yeah, kind of justified. He knows. He knows.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I really like this play, by the way, Bait. They've got the Hawk up here because now it's going to be hard to tell if they want to try and de-ward or anything like that. They're not going to exactly know. Yeah, that Hawk is there. Ladan already making his way over to the mid lane with the Sentry, however. So we'll see if they know what's going on. Interesting ward placement, by the way, here. Bait really looking to cover the mid lane.
Second ward, especially, right?
Yeah.
Like the first one is, you know, we see this mid lane ward often, but the second, is it like it's partially mid lane rotations? It's partially as well if you're trying to like hunt a support in the jungle.
Yeah.
Early on, your 4 can really trade with a 5, and now especially because you're Radiant, and you know the camp down bottom, one of the pull camps for like the medium camp, I think it is, that the offlane often uses Dire as well to pull. That one is so close to the Dire tower that if you just push the 5 far away from this camp, it's honestly impossible to control. The offlaners really.
Yeah.
So that was a huge spot for Dire.
Definitely. Oh, I hate it when teams pause after the horn because the horn does not resume. Now we just have this awkward silence before it begins. There we go.
Do you want to make a horn sound?
I do not. No, I do not. I was a string player. I was not in the band. Okay, so I would not be very good at making a horn sound. But I also think this ward is nice to have because if the Grimstroke were to just casually go mid lane, apply the Stroke of Fate, and allow Puck to close the gap obviously naturally with the Jaunt and be on top of Dendi, that might actually turn into a kill. So, you know, just maybe that's not exactly why they put the ward down, but I think it's an effect. It's a side effect of the other reasons you listed.
I mean, it also helps you Yeah, no, I agree with that point, especially because I think this lane is actually pretty good for the Leshrac. Nice play. It's a good lane for the Leshrac for reasons we explained in other broadcasts, but the Lesh kind of forces the puck to decide, what do I want to do? Do I want to let my tower potentially fall, depending, of course, the build of Leshrac? Don't want to let my tower fall, but that way I also get ganks and create space for my team, or don't want to stay here, farm a bit more, and protect my tower, but also disable my early game power spike, right? Not being able to utilize that effect. And Leshrac kind of forces you into that position, particularly because it's very low cooldown pushing power, as opposed to say DK or DP. So it's a nice little matchup against the Puck. I like it, especially because Lesh also wants to stay in the mid lane for a while just to farm anyway. So
yeah, I'm really curious to see once again. This time, not so much the item build, but more so the skill build for Dendi. It's very typical level 2, 101, and then at this stage you decide: do I want to make the mid laner's life hell and max the Lightning Storm and the Split Earth like I would perhaps during the days of the safe lane Leshrac, or do I want to threaten to push mid? So okay, second point into Lightning Storm. Not too decisive yet, but if he puts, if he gets his 4th skill point and doesn't level Diabolic Edict, I do think this is going to allow the Puck to look to rotate.
They got the kill down bottom on TSA, relatively easy with Stifling Dagger. This combo, of course, of Grimstroke PA, very nice combo. We're talking about this, right? Fantastic 5. Their draft might be a bit countered because of some of the weaknesses that they have, but they have really good synergy between them. From Grimstroke PA combo to the later Slaughter PA, even the Slaughter Dark Willow lane is very solid because of the nature of the heroes. I feel like that's one of the strengths they have, and they're already taking advantage of it. And PA is not too bothered by Beastmaster because she can kill the board with Stifling Dagger. It's not the biggest deal for her.
Yeah, this is I think a lot of people will say this is kind of like the weakest Grimstroke duo that you can go for. You've got like Riki is a little bit better than this. What's the big one? The Jug is like the fan favorite, right, as well for the pubs. But this one as well is really nice. Of course, the Phantom Strike to close the gap instantly and maximize the damage with Inkswell and that stun. Sometimes we don't see this work too often because of the particular lane matchup that the PA has. If it's like a Tide Hunter, he's not gonna care. Oh.
Never had
Yeah,
a
that was a
chance.
nice kill here by Fantastic 5, and Morphling is definitely trying to find farm as a way for him, so he'll be fine. It is tough for Watson here. He knows he has to sacrifice his support if he wants to get last.
Yeah, but again, this is going to mean that Stream Protector is not going to have a game. I feel like obviously supports take a couple deaths early in the game. Not too surprising there, but if he's not able to play aggressively in the lane and really look to abuse Nature's Grasp, as they are cutting down his trees here. This is a nice strategy. Ladon starting off with the Quelling Blade. The trees do respawn 2 minutes faster now, so it's not as punishing to the Treant Protector, but you could see it's so difficult to make use of the Nature's Grasp here. But again, he needs to get something out of this lane here for No Fear, and this is not the lane really that you're going to be able to do so.
Rari, yet again, going to try to kill Limitless. Can they get it with Stifling Dagger? Yes, that's going to be enough, I believe, right? Just a couple of blasts. No! The Battery Assault keeping them at bay. The salve, not going to be sufficient. Stroke of Fate just sniping him towards the MBZZ. He's showing I used to play mid boys. I have the skill of mid laner in the support.
Yep, able to snipe him. No juke attempted there by Limitless. Just hiding behind the tree. Unfortunately, he was cut down all the same. And very, very strong start here for Fantastic 5, who again did kind of, I think we expected this given that they've got some really, really powerful lanes. So it's still up to, Beastmaster eventually when he does get more points in the board. Level 3, I'd say, especially now here on the boards. He's going to be able to start really bullying Rari. You can see actually they've managed to cancel the healing salve that I think was placed on him already. So he's not really in too great of a position, but already power treads being completed for Rari means that he's quite tanky, so he can stay in this lane a bit longer and absorb a little bit more harass. Not going for like the naked Battle Fury. In fact, they're going to look to punish TSA. Yeah.
So strong once again. More kill from Fantastic 5 down bottom. This combo is working wonders for them. Honestly, Fantastic 5 so happy with how the lane is going, especially considering Supernova is also doing a good job of not canceling the Morphling, but at least annoying him enough. So you already have a favorable carry matchup, and PA, once you get the Battle Fury, can match Morphling's farm, if not even beat it, honestly. So it's not a matchup that is easily recovered by the Morphling. He's not a hero that can just buy a farming item and wants to farm faster.
Yeah, very true. Very true. The lane is going to get a little bit easier for Morphling, and then it's going to get really hard when Supernova hits level 6. But as we now probably will get this 3rd point in the attribute shift, he'll be a little bit tankier. He's actually taking the points in Adaptive Strike. I believe that's just to try and push him away in case he is sprinting at you for a crush. Mid lane, Ladon, look at the ward coverage he has, though. They've almost kind of mirrored the early game wards that Beta put down, as we will be ganking here early on with first Dream Coil. Nicely done there, trying to stun himself. Dendi, will he be able to get saved? Doesn't look like it. Down here. he goes, tips onto Dendi and No Fear alike. It's another big play here, courtesy of Fantastic 5. A kill into the mid lane, and it's 5 unanswered kills across all 3 lanes here in favor of Fantastic 5.
Top as well, they're going for Watson, and Watson, I mean, he just took Boom Ash. He doesn't want to continue because there's no point in diving there. However, that's a huge win for Fantastic 5. I think they saw that Dendi didn't go for the Valkyric build, so more of a laning build. And this build is much easier to punish by just rotating some supports. Because this kill is so valuable for you. With it last, if he had gone Debal King, it's like no big deal because you'll still push. I mean, if he's dying, farm is not important. But the build that Dendi went for was specifically made so that he can get some farm early and be more of an impactful core. And of course, that gets cancelled by good rotations. Top yet again. Look at this. Watson is honestly, he can't even get close to the lane. It's just the bashes. He doesn't have Korok's pace yet, and Watson's already suffering.
He needs the Treant Protector here, who died, of course, so he's going to have to run all the way back top. And trees are not so good with movement, so that does take him some time. In the meantime, though, he's getting a little bit pressured now by the double boars as he's going to make another jump on over the Beastmaster. Into the trees he goes. TSA nearby is going to dissuade them from going any further, however. But you know, had we had maybe 1 or 2 crits out from the coup de grace, which is ready to go, it may have been a kill. Limitless this time around, he's a bit slower to the Helm of Dominator than he was in game number 1. But when he does have that up, he will be pretty scary here for the PA, and I think she's already going to go into the jungle now with the Ring of Health.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That Ring of Health will, say, help her survive the jungle a bit more. Askel is coming to get a kill, apparently. Interesting. Usually you wouldn't gank the lane that's already being destroyed. Like, how you would gank the Morphling first. Askel maybe saw an opportunity.
Really weird time to gank the lane as well, because the lane was already pushing, right? So it's not like you had the opportunity to naturally extend. Then he's going to snap coil on the high ground. DD for Askold. Ladon's TP is super long because he TPs after Askold's TPs, after the failed gank bottom. So then he's going to be very easily able to survive this one.
I will mention on Askold, to some degrees, that sometimes you'll make these, like, these ganks seem really weird, of course, to us, but what Askold was probably trying to do is be proactive with his ganks, like surprise them when the lane was going to push, and he just did a bit of a misreading as to when the lane was going to push, what the PA was going to do. But these proactive ganks, even though right now it looks like a huge waste of time, it ends up being the most successful gank. If you always gank reactively, which is safer per se, you're never going to be able to turn around it.
That's true.
Necessary.
That's true, but I feel like on the proactive ganks, which he can't do this game, of course. You want to go top, but also they're the easiest to punish if they go wrong, right? Because you lose so much. Not even if you just die. We can see here, he TP's mid lane, but the secondary TP is way too long because, of course, he ran down bottom. And then now we can see where this snowball into what could have been a second kill onto Dendi instead turns into him just safely backing away as he uses all of his mana, and he'll be back into the mid lane to de-push the waves. He's going to farm a couple of extra camps, getting good XP, stuff like that.
No, but Watson's TP, by the way.
I don't know about this one either.
Seconds. Ladon, oh, he just revealed himself. Oh, Watson, do not morph it too much into agility. Control your greed by bucket of water. And he's afraid of the slaughter, right? I mean, it makes sense that a fish would beat up water, right? Because he swims in him.
Oh, more than that, he's in it too.
Oh, that's the real problem, right? That's just disrespect. Out of slaughter.
That's why I don't drink water.
Man, all 100% of water at one point has been someone's peak. Don't drink water. Drink Coke. It's
okay, tower for tower. Dendi, I think now he's got 2 points. Oh no, he's actually maxed it. So that's the nice part about going for like 2-1-2 in the lane. Is you farm like crazy, right? So you do really quickly catch up in terms of the XP. Wasn't really punished this time around because Askold was not successful in these ganks. And now with the maxed edict, we can look to start applying some pressure to the mid lane tower. The issue is that when Supernova, who's already gotten his top tower, is already having, of course, the casual cloak, strength treads, and a bracer, so he's super tanky, and Lesh is made out of paper. And he does not really want to be standing too close to the Slardar, especially when he's kind of actually getting closer to the Blink Dagger. So a really strong laning stage up from Slardar.
Yeah, we did something weird by Dendi this game to mitigate that. I think a Shiva's, like a relatively early Shiva's would be a good idea to deal with the PA Slardar. Something like it. I like the Yols first. Maybe travel, like Yols travel into Shivas would be fine. Yeah. Or even going for the Kayan Sanj into a Shiva's. That tank ability needs to happen. Because as you mentioned, otherwise he's just...
Shiva's got a lot of value this game for sure. Askold is not going to right clicker obviously because your other 2 cores are right clicker. So probably just kind of the same thing as last game. Yeah, Initiator, Ags, Blink, perhaps an Aeon Disc if it comes down to it this game, I think would be pretty valuable, but that's a little bit further down the line. As they will be looking to try and push mid lane here with the wagon. Dendi is not nearby here, actually, so he's running on over, but they have vision on him thanks to the Observer Ward planted in between the towers. Supernova here as well to push, then he clears the way, but they don't actually get the wagon. Out comes the Fortify, but they don't really mind tanking the tier 1 for this long. Well, so long as it's Supernova doing the tanking, that is.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this tower is going down.
So with armor, Supernova actually, Slaughter not only takes away armor, but has a huge amount of armor himself, right? So actually really good hero for diving towers early, for tanking these kind of towers. That's one of the impacts that Slaughter has if you give him a good enough play. That's why this is the game though, what I would say this is a great Slaughter pick because you already knew the core matchup. You knew the power of the Slaughter here with your Puck as well, who can go for a teamfight initiation build, and that way Supernova can be a bit more of a carry as you mentioned. I like it. This is what I feel like Trident Clan should be picking much more. These guys, Trident Clan, another team in the league, by the way, guys, in case you guys don't know, and they love the Slaughter. They just pick it a bit too early sometimes.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Structures are fortified.
Look there.
Dire's top
He does,
tower
actually,
is
yeah.
under attack.
He really likes the melee in your face. I think actually what Supernova does best is he's really good at knowing who to jump in these fights, which is exactly like a skill that you want in your offlaner, right? Who to disable, who like to try and put the focus on. And I think that's why like the LC, the Underlord are some of his better heroes. I put Slardar up here as well, especially after the performance he's having this game. Blink Dagger finished up 12 minutes in. They're going to look to defend a tier 2 tower because Watson is here, diving past the tier 2, looking for the kill onto Speezeasy. Will find it. Silence is the more play, but he got off the strength game. Now max strength. Dendi is here. So is No Fear, holding on to that overgrowth. Now uses it to try and punish Supernova here, who is going to drop eventually to the magic damage that Dendi deals. It's going to be a 3-for-1 special and a tier 2 tower off the bat of this. It's not exactly what you wanted with Blink Dagger reveal here on the Slardar. And a very, very great fight from Bait. I don't think they were expecting Watson to show up that early in the fight. See here as Watson going next into the Yasha, able to kind of just tank right up thanks to that Morbid Mask he's gone for. So it is going to be the stats build. Dendi using the speedrunner strategy, just standing outside next to the tier 1 tower to nuke it down. We've got no Fortify either remaining as Askold was looking to cut the waves. Able to do it there. Askold at least nuking the wave though. So the Fortify saves at least the mid tier 1 tower. So great fight from Bait, but it's not actually going to turn into an additional tower.
And it's off. A tithe to the impurities.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yep, No Fear got ganked by the Satyr camp, and that's fine. Rari's continuing to farm. He's now got the full Battle Fury up. He's got so much HP regen here, actually, thanks to the chipped vest, actually getting a little bit of a buff for its HP regeneration. Straight into the Deso and the BKB, so your very standard trio of items here for Rari, just looking to maximize his farm. Morphling is still finishing up that Manta style, having a bit of a rougher start than his counterpart here. And in fact, is even poorer than Supernova. Right now, Dendi, the only one who is out farming the enemy team. And that's mostly just, I mean, look at the stacks. Beautiful. Dendi level 12. They put that second point into the Pulse Nova, so lots of damage, but it's very mana intensive here for Dendi, so they're going to be looking for some shorter fights here off the back of this smoke gank. Askold holding underneath the ward, but they know he's nearby. Hook shot is going to connect down bottom though onto Supernova, trapped inside the cogs, and he is not going anywhere. Savage Primal Roar as well utilized here to get the kill, and couldn't even get the crush out in time, but does allow Askold at least to leave. That is true.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, he's super civilized. He just wants to return to Maul. Oh. No fear. He's able to escape. Nice tree walking man. This game he's actually going for the medallion, and I think this is a lot better. I think if he can get the Solar Crest online, he's actually going to have a little bit more impact in these team fights, even without the Blink Dagger. To be honest, they don't really need him to be the Blink Initiator this game, because that's what TSA is for, and he's proved on the money so far with these hook shots. So an excellent game thus far out from our support duo, as they have found the Beastmaster, pushing a bit too far down bottom, but guess what? Bait into the triangle. This is the one I was looking forward to. Ferrari, there's the TP's coming, but they're holding him down. Can they get the kill? No, he Blink Strikes down to the low ground, ticking away, but still alive on 60 HP, as they will be able to get that Phantom Strike thanks to the TPs of the supports. Now they're looking to punish here. EZZ and Supernova jumping in there right into the cogs. Unfortunately, oh, he's going to go forward. The Ul Scepter at least to purge it off. Still stunning up TSA, but Dendi here holding the choke points, or at least trying to. The damage onto TSA is going to nuke him down. No fear nearby, trying to do whatever he can, but Dendi in the river, falling fast here to the likes of Supernova. Can't get out another bash though, as Dendi melts Ladon. Plenty of heroes surrounding him there to share the damage out from the Bedlam, and it turns into a pretty successful play. Despite not getting the target, it's still going to be a position 4 for the offlaner when you account for the Beastmaster kill down bottom. Hold on, the Warplane in trouble. Yeah, that's going to be the jungle promptly dewarded immediately, pretty much, as Ascald at least will follow through and go ahead and cut another wave in the top lane. Well, that's going to be nice, applying some pressure. Bait, again, looking to play it a little bit more aggressively. Actually, they're going to go for Roshi without the coil. They make the call.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And they go to the pit. We, unfortunately, that's going to put us behind the 8-ball a bit on our Helm of the Overlord. We were 500 gold away, but after the buyback, now we're another 1,000. Roshan is going to drop, so that's going to help make up the difference. And Aegis onto Watson. Nice morphs by Watson this game, by the way. He's turned into Puck both times. The second time around, they quickly learn on the fly here. Let me get this replay cut so we can take a look at how crucial the Slytherin crush onto Dendi was. It was the only man he did crush, as you called out into the fight, but that's actually what allows him to actually continue fighting there. Otherwise, Dendi lands a stun and you just lose too many heroes early on in the engagement. So we'll take a look right here. Just look at the starter. Immediately going in to save the puck, but the crush immediately stops Dendi for the follow-up damage that they needed, and that allows them to continue actually fighting. So very, very nicely done. Morph as well, stealing the puck form, or borrowing, I suppose, and using that to get a secondary silence when needed as well. Helps them turn the tide here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They might be able to punish Slaughter. Oh, he really wants to cross here into the mid lane. So they're going to scout him. Hook shot. Yep. Big kill for them, because you're right, at this stage he is kind of the carry. He's at his power spike, so it makes sense. Going to try and at least take down TSA before he goes, but the lift there from Dendi is going to nuke him down. Another big kill there on a Supernova. That's just a bedlam to farm, don't worry about it. And Watson as well, now with Manta Style completed, is going back for the E-Blade. So it's going to put some pressure onto the PA to use this BKB quite wisely, of course, because that BKB will give her a lot of immunity from the burst damage, but will leave her then open to, you know, still hook shots, still the Primal Roar as Clockwork in trouble. Should just end up dying here, but no fear, showing up, threatening to use that overgrowth, and given the heal to TSA will save his life. That's going to be another Dream Coil not used for a kill. They just barely lack the damage.
Jackpot.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, exactly. He gets the benefit, basically, of having the Manta Style for the Dispel, but also does not lose out kind of on the effective HP that you would get from the Sanj. So he's just missing the status resist, unfortunately, but so far it looks like he needs that Dispel. Rari making the dive there after the kill onto No Fear. Great terrorize, but it doesn't catch Watson, allowing Rari to Blink Strike away up to the high ground. We have no follow-up stun here, unfortunately, no vision. It even looks like Askold is going to be able to escape. Yeah, that is Askold, not Einkrit. Watson is going to be left without any kills here. Only the Train Protector taking a death, but a nice pick-off there in favor of Fantastic Five. That's going to close PA in on her BKB a bit more. Slaughter as well, he's really getting close to his, and then I think Fate are going to be a little bit on the back foot with the dual BKB time in here. Maybe even try BKB time in here with Puck making good progress as well.
Behold, silence!
No fear. No fear. Why?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay. Yeah. They really want that bottom tier 1 tower, I think is what it comes down to as well. He's been very keen to defend it both times. Kind of just TP's bottom, dies, TP's bottom, dies. But you know, he gets out the Dream Coil. Not too big of a loss for Fantastic Five, because again, they get the tower. They at least get something in exchange for the mid-tier 2, which was taken down. And yes, not having Coil sucks, but honestly, we weren't going to be fighting anyway. So in these next couple of, well, singular minutes, because the Aegis is going to be up, and then by then, you'll have Dream Coil ready to go again. So why not? Relatively short cooldown ultimate. Yeah.
Players here.
Yeah, for sure. Watson already has the Ghost Scepter closing in on the on that Eagle Song now. Keeping away will be BZZ and the Slaughter. Fendi cutting the wave here. Going for the Sanj and Kaya, now being both delivered. So he is an extra tanky boy. It's gone as well for the Eternal Shroud. I believe we saw this build and a Bloodstone with an Oracle that just kind of made a Leshrac unkillable. Aegis reclaimed, by the way.
Yeah, we did see this build of the Bloodstone with Kaya and Sanj and another Control, but I feel like we did see also the Leshrac actually go for this exact build, Eternal Shroud, just Kaya and Sanj, no Bloodstone, just for this super spell lifesteal, and it worked as well against a physical damage lineup on top of that. And now, of course, the Shiva's travels.
He's got the vision, does connect here onto the PA. She's got Phantom Strike, so they're going to try and push her away. Primal Roar going to connect. We've got Overgrowth at the ready, that they're going to need to use the Terrorize and the double stun. Everything committed to take down Rari, who had BKB, but no time to use it. Everyone else is going to be able to retreat here relatively safely. That's going to be a minute without the PA, however, as Bates are going to be looking to try and turn this into anything else. Unfortunately, it's going to be difficult, so probably just some wards planted off the back of this kill. Clockwork, by the way, opting for the Point of Insight.
I actually like this pick a lot. Deal with the Puck's damage, pretty much they're all residual damage Askold does. Like, you're really nullifying this Puck, because you identified correctly Askold is not going for that carry-ish build. Right? You don't have that much physical. He didn't go for the phase shift attack, which means the pipe just nullifies his hero, and you just really have team fight potential with Dream Coil, which is decent, but without the burst damage, why even go for the 12% spell?
Yeah. And we can see Fantastic Five setting up for the next objective, which will be Roshan respawning as soon as in a minute and some change, minute and a half about, or up to another 3 after that. Dendi is underneath the ward though, only has the Yule Scepter, is gonna have to use it here. In fact, he's gonna eat the stun. Hookshot misses the last goal, jukes it with the Waning Rift. Now Dendi uses the Yule Scepter, but there's no backup here. No Roar ready to go. Supernova popping the BKB, looking to try and control Dendi as they have the Soulbind. He's just too damn tanky. He's too tanky. Inkswell's not going to be enough damage, and now Watson looking to counter-initiate. Askel really wants to get the skill, but Rari finally jumping the back line, eats the Primal Roar, as there's going to be the regeneration popped by Askel. He's going to be back in the fight on full HP, but no, they get to the pit and cancel the regeneration. But Bait falling like flies. They finally have taken down Supernova. Beastmaster fighting versus Rari, as Watson still trying to struggle to catch up to these two. Rari is at least going to be saved here by the Terrorize, forcing Morphling back up to the high ground, as Beastmaster left in the pit is still alive thanks to the thanks to the living armor. That last bit of damage though will find him at the cost perhaps of his own life here. Askel ticking away to all that natural damage is the 5th to fall in this fight. Radon looking to be the 6th. There's the E-Blade up now for Rari. Nice Manta style though. The Rari stun still connected thanks to the Inkswell looking to try and get back out of the pit. Great Force Staff as the Adaptive Strike chasing him down. Watson and No Fear considering, thinking about going for more, but they will back up now after a casual crit onto No Fear.
Dendi played in this. I mean, he didn't play insane. He just so tanky, right? It's ridiculous. His build is working so well for this game, and it did force Fantastic Five to seriously overextend, and that almost ended up being a bad team fight for them. I think in the end they win it just because of Rari's skill. I mean, Jesus, he was evading everything with Phantom Strike and Blur. It was incredible. I mean, this is one of the few players that I like seeing an Ags on, even if you are not losing, just for the sake of the Blur cooldown, because of how he abused. Insane. Rari played such a good mobile team fight. I feel like if it wasn't because of him, that team fight would have gone completely haywire for Fantastic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very, very nicely done indeed. And shout out as well. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but let's assume he did. Askel using Waning Rifts to not only silence Dendi, but to just juke the hook shot coming his way.
I'm assuming he did it on purpose, right?
I think it was because they have a ward on the high ground, so it wouldn't make sense.
It was a bit too precise because you saw as the hookshot came out, like literally the animation completed, he used the Wade. Yeah, I'm a bit hesitant to cut to replay here because it looks like Roshan is going to be a bit of a fast one here. Both teams gearing up and ready to fight into it. Lots of vision being utilized here. We'll do it now briefly. See if we can get away with it, but just take a look at this. Dendi walking right on it, fighting underneath the ward. Should be a pretty easy pickoff here for Fantastic Five, especially when Rari ends up joining, but he's just too darn tanky. Askel's
it's a smoke play. It's a smoke play. There they go.
Askel's not nearby though. This is pretty good for them. Unless force staffing the start of the slowdown, that might just save you. Supernova considering re-engaging. Rari as well. He's not the BKB. They want to go for Dendi first, but he's a bit too tanky.
Great overgrowth.
Instead, Dendi surviving next to the Ghost Center and left from Aurora stop Rari. Follow the drip go on the floor. There's just no follow-up damage. Rari needs to get away somehow. Rari with the Inkswell not gonna help too much. He is in the low guard, however. The Morphling chase after him, turns into him, and now proceeds to attack him, but it's not gonna be enough. They got the final hit with the illusions as Rari was forced to play aggressive, trying to utilize that Bastion to its best advantage. It's not gonna work out here for Fantastic Five. Another good team play.
Yo, check this out. No Fear with the mind games. If you're curious why he actually tips the PA, I'll show you here in this replay. Just take a look. He pump fakes the overgrowth, and that allows him to pick up the stun and the lockdown onto the PA because she activates BKB thinking, oh, I'm gonna time it perfectly. I'm not gonna be locked down or disarmed even for a split second. I know for what you thought. Look at this.
Oh, it's true. That's a point. That's very impressive. He learned, because earlier he got juked by the Blur. He's like, never again, Rari.
Yeah, exactly. And then Watson is just able to pump in the damage after the Primal Roar connects. Dendi is well proven to be the tanky boy he is. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing team fight for Big. They even go into the choke point pretty blind, and it still works out for them. Now look at the attack speed here, courtesy of our ancient Thunderhide. Up to the pit. Okay, not gonna try and snipe away this Aegis. Who took Shard? It was Dendi. Okay, so Dendi has Shard and his Cheese. His TSA with the hookshot is gonna be able to find BZZ. Force after himself down to the low ground, but the adaptive strike out from Watson is going to be able to pick him off.
Oh, very well done here, Bait, honestly. Now, with the Shard on Lesh, I feel like this high ground push is so easy, honestly. That split earth, deny the area around the high ground is exactly if you use it, and it's so impactful. How are you going to be able to initiate onto the Lesh, honestly? With the constant split earth is going to be coming out.
Top tower is falling.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. The counter initiation is going to be difficult. Split Earth doesn't care if you're blurred either. It's still going to hit you if you're in the AoE, of course, Magic Immunity aside. Puck able to pretty easily nuke these waves with a Grimstroke, a Puck, and even a Willow to keep waves pushed out, though. They will struggle a little bit to go up to high ground here. They kind of have to just full send it up to the high ground here to make sure they can actually get a creep wave in range and get that backdoor off. All 3 lanes available for the pushing, as all outer towers have been taken away. A very obvious smoke, as the hook shot is going to connect.
Yeah, I think Rari has to use the BKB here just to get away. Actually walks back in, takes the BKB, wants to take advantage of it. There's the Aegis wasted. Not really much done with it. Dendy might not be as tanky any longer, and Supernova is keeping no fear at bay. No more overgrowth. Rari, though, doesn't want to die this time. Doesn't want to re-engage either. As Bait is running rampant within their base, it seems like he just get the kill onto TSA, at least punishing the supports for this incursion and taking the Aegis. Not losing any objectives in the process. Well played with Fantastic 5, good defense.
Yeah, really good hold, even after an especially nice hook shot in. A little bit of the YOLO play they needed to make, unfortunately, does not work out. That Dagon being put to good use as well. As I've just noticed that we've picked up here on our Fairy Dragon. Dagon 1, along with the Quickening Charm, we're building into more Dagons. So it's a little bit like the Pikachu style of the Dagons, as we'll take another look at how that one went down. This time the Overgrowth not proven to be as effective. It does at least keep Rari out of the fight and almost kills him. But again, great positioning out from BZZ, as well as really our Dark Willow here, just to make sure, Ladan, just to make sure that she's always got someone to Phantom Strike back to. It's really been quite a killer ability here for Bait, or I suppose a lack of killer ability, because they've just not been able to get their hands on the PA unless the Overgrowth and Primal Roar connects.
Also Supernova on point with those stunts, the Slithering Crush, and then the follow-up, of course, with the bashes. Like, he's not going for this game, he's going for Lotus Orb now, so he's not going to be going for the Slarna that commits a lot of damage with, say, the AC build, for example, and just runs down someone. But he's going for this insane counter initiation, which is enabling this PA to exist. You don't need more damage, you just need some lockdown. And I think Supernova is really bringing it. I'd love to see the Shard as well.
Now we see the Shivas, by the way, for Dendy, so we're going back into just more armor. And without even a BKB, it's how did we kill Dendy?
He needed that. I think the Shiva is a necessity. It will also really crush the PA, because just a casual Morbid Mask on top of that, so you lose that lifesteal. Oh no, Dendy alone. I don't think he can last any longer. Yule Scepter, Rari acted his BKB already. They gotta kill Dendy early, but they just don't have the damage just yet. They go for the support instead, and finally they finish off TSA and Dendy, but the cost of Ascol. Good Terrorize giving Rari some space to escape, as Watson wants to just finish off Rari. You killed my Dendy, I will kill you instead. But Rari's not interested in this carry-to-carry matchup. Instead, going for the rest of the team, finishing off Slippin' like Supernova, trying to fade out. So their weapons available. Watson gonna get stunned, but he's already dead. Rari is now left alone. He's been controlled. That put us the Shard. Rari fighting in the area, not where you want to be, Rari. As the third Shard is what ends up killing him. He had to move, but just not in time. Supernova's back. One to punish the Morphling. He's out of mana, so he can quite literally not accurate shift. And I think Supernova has decided he's the carry now. Chasing after Morphling. He's now in the water. Supernova just a bit faster. Slithering Crush on top of that. They go for the protect. That might be the easier kill, but it's not the kill that you want. You want the carry right now, and they're gonna go for both. He stayed too long. Watson should have left Dendy even joining towards the end. Why, Dendy? Why? Dying twice there. A dive from Dendy, underestimating the power of this mashing fish who's looking for the last kill here. It's gonna be a clockwork. But TSA, oh no, turned around for the rocket flare. But he has a Ghost Scepter. It's fine. We're all good.
I can't believe how many times Bait have fought literally right underneath an Observer Ward for Fantastic 5 and have gotten away with it. And this is more of what I was expecting it to look like, to be honest. Just a really, really messy fight here, as at least this pause is going to give us plenty of time to take another look at it. Buyback galores, they at least eventually get rid of Rari, but at such a high cost. I thought Dendy was going to take, well, he did end up taking a second death, but I thought he was going to die a lot sooner than he actually did as well. Oh my lord, what was that fight?
I wouldn't know if it was messy. I think it was just chaotic to some degree. It was hard to gauge. I think when the teams didn't know who was winning that fight halfway through, right? Because of all the buybacks that were spent on it. And here, We actually get to see it. I like the smoke play though in the beginning, of course. Dendi probably was not expecting this, but Dendi was just too tanky, right? In this initiation, Rari, there is a point that you can tell where he's like, you know, I'm not gonna kill cores anymore. I'm just gonna go for the supports instead, and that's where he starts going, right? And he starts actually avoiding the morphling in the fight, and I feel like that's when Fantastic Five actually start playing the fight better, right? Rari utilizing his mobility, everyone trying to stop the morphling from being too impactful. He's still killing heroes around, but Rari is messing with nobody but everybody but the most. He can't win that core-to-core matchup.
Yeah, and I think what's also interesting here is this is the difference of using Overgrowth when it's used as like a defensive and a save ability compared to Overgrowth like winning a team fight, right? Because this Overgrowth was to try and save Dendi's life, but there's no one else there to force BKB for Fantastic Five, and I think that's kind of a problem here. They can tank through at least the 2.5 seconds that Yules gives you. They can tank through 2.5 seconds of that Pulse Nova, no problem, right? They don't have to use BKBs for that. So they can save their dispels for that Overgrowth, and then they're just still completely all over Dendi. So really, really difficult for them. That's kind of a bit of the double-edgedness of this draft, that yes, we have a lot of abilities that go through BKB, Overgrowth, Primal Roar, and the hook shot, but also that means they can save BKB for one of the big ultimates, and that feels really weak here.
Yeah, that's the big deal, right? They're using it as a pseudo dispel here, as you mentioned, and later on when we get more tools as well to deal with the Primal Roar and hookshot, like for example, Lotus Orb's already out for Primal Roar. We might see an Aeon Disc later for the Puck. Like these things help out itemizing against Bait's very single target oriented draft, right? They don't have as big AoE spells, so eventually as the game goes further, the itemization benefits you. Whereas, however well you itemize, Slithering Crush catching multiple heroes is difficult to defeat that, right? It's just going to be a good stun. That's one of the advantages Fantastic Five comes still.
Puck going into an Aether Lens now. I assume it's going to be for the Bloodstone, but I'm not really sure. Just casual Aether. Yeah, it's
for the
Recipe's on the way. Octarine, yes, thank you. But I thought for sure we'd finish off this Dagon, but apparently they after that fight, they don't really care if Morphling is going to be max strength, because with all the minus armor, they shoot through him very, very easily.
Yes, I agree. I feel like the PA is good enough to deal with the Morph once you kill everyone around. Like the problem is when Morph has teammates that are keeping the PA at bay. But if you just do that technique again, like Rari's discovered it, Cross of Haze, whatever target you want to go for, kill it. As long as it's not the Morphling, it'll die relatively quickly.
And I think we're seeing why this is such a Watson hero, by the way. The fact that they're actually very much still in this game. At the very least, they do take a terrible fight, but it's a terrible fight without really any too meaningful immediate consequences, right? Roshan wasn't responding soon. They didn't get a single tower off the back of that either because all the creep waves were pushed in. It did cost them quite a few buybacks, but at the end of the day, it's not in itself a game-losing fight.
Exactly, no, for sure. Like towards the end, there was the messiness of the play that made you question what was happening, but it was definitely not like, oh, what a great mistake. It's really difficult, especially in a game like this, to be able to gauge what's happening immediately without the information that we have. Like we know who's buying back, we know where the positioning is. It's perfect for Bait and for Fantastic Five. They're almost guessing, and that sixth sense is muddled the longer the fight goes, and the more you go, what am I playing? Is even Dota anymore?
Yep, we've taken the phase shift AoE, sorry, waning rift AoE is what I meant to say, and the range. Morphling 25 has taken the waveform charges. We're about to hit 25, well, not about, but we're approaching very quickly 25 for Dendi. Rari lagging behind you just a little bit at level 23, but with the Satanic and the Basher ready to go, as well as the Paladin Sword to buff your HP lifesteal a little bit. So this could be a big moment as Fantastic Five smoke up yet again. We'll jump Dendi in the river here, and the burst damage this time it's too high, but the hook shot saving him potentially. He gets off the Yule Scepter. TSA sacrificing his own life as Dendi with the spider legs up to the high ground, but Asphalt gives the vision, and Rari will nuke him down using both the Phantom Strike as well as the Dream Coil. Rari finishing up No Fear in the river as Watson held in place and killed. Not one hero with buyback except for Limitless, as all five will fall. Fantastic Five picking off the entirety of Bait.
Yeah, I feel like that was, I mean, I know what chat's gonna say for sure because Dendi's initiated that, but I don't know if it was as much Dendi's issue as much as Bait just all committing to that fight, right? I mean, once you lose Dendi there and you realize, okay, the hook shot was a good idea, but it's not gonna work out, we lose two, no big deal. Why is the rest of Bait still joining? There's no hope for you once you lose Dendi, for sure, especially not like that. So I feel like that save your friend syndrome really coming in strong in that fight.
Now they're just gonna go up to the high ground here as well. As with Deso especially, and now level 25 on PA. 3 daggers to toss, 3 chances to crit.
Dire's middle barracks.
As, they are
Triple
going
the chance.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
triple 3 times, what is it, 25 is it? Or it's not 25.
Imagine 50%.
15, yeah. That's a good thing it's not 16, eh?
Yeah, no, 17.
I thought it was 16, 1/6.
Dire's middle barracks are under
For like your Spirit Breaker bashes and whatever, 16%, 17. Oh, it is 17, you're right.
This is a prime number, that's why I always never trust prime numbers. They're unsafe. Rari, they're gonna find the Roshan. Who do you give the X to? Actually, they slaughter? No. Okay, wait.
No, you leave it in the pit for Asquills.
Just so it can marinate in the Roshan juices. There you go.
Give it to Rari.
You give it to Rari. You can Slaughter almost built his, so I understand this. It's not like an Axe from the Alk, which actually is old. It's just useless. So you might as well, let Slaughter finish it up. There we go. That's Axe for Slaughter. And as I mentioned earlier, I think Rari is one of the best PAs in using this Axe, even when you're not losing and cutting lanes, just in the middle of the team fight. Of course, the skill refreshing is very nice for any PA, but the maximization of the blur is something I've seen Rari do all. His PA is insane.
Yep, absolutely.
My waters rise.
They wanted you to say more. Say more about Rari, friend.
More about Rari, friend.
The voice comes not working for Fantastic 5, much like Seek Strength's Brain. But what can you tell me right now about this matchup? Do you think that Bait still have what it takes to be able to win these fights, or is it a now? It has tanking.
I think this Ags is a really big problem. Usually, we used to see this Ags like almost exclusively when PA had like 1, maybe 2 items, but the rest of the team was losing because PA was forcing them to play a 1v5, or sorry, a 4v5. And then we'd see Ags cut waves, farm Divine Rapier, and win the game. Yep. This time, though, it's obviously we've got a lot of AoE damage, but a lot of the big spells, and mainly the biggest damage dealers being Morphling, could not actually target him during that increased now duration of the blur. So I think it is going to be a little bit difficult here for Bait. Decrease cooldown, yeah, and of course refresh, but I think he's going to have a really hard time. They're going to have a really, really tough time versus this PA.
I would agree with you on that. I think a single target thing is really what's pushing them back. Like the overgrowth is probably their best area scale, and that is also denied by, which sucks, right? Imagine having an AoE stun that can't go through that blur. That feels like you just picked a hero for nothing in that sense. And I guess the Split Earth, you can consider that, but Split Earth is really good with the shard, mind you, when you have the advantage, right? When the area denial matters because you decide where and when to fight. If you don't decide, and enemy team decides, Split Earth is at best a zone out spell.
Yeah, that's very true, especially if they keep just jumping on to you as they have done time and time and time. Pardon me.
Because then he has to play that role, right? Like, if he's not the tank, per se, who's going to make it? Beastmaster? He shouldn't be in that position. Frame Protector can't do that either. If Morphling gets caught like that, he dies. So it has to be Dendy that's forced to play that way, which is why we've seen him always dying first in the fights. It's really not, like, mistakes by him. It's just the role he's kind of thwarted upon.
No, for sure. I agree with that. It's just... It is really difficult now at this stage. There's Ags completed for our Slardar. Level 25 is gone for the Corrosive Haze. Undispellable. Bit of a problem here for our Morphling, mostly because of the minus armor. And to a lesser degree, the vision. He can't really juke anymore with the 2 charges of Waveform that he has. So that advantage has been a bit nullified. DZZ actually closing in. He's got the +3 hits to kill Phantom Talent, which also might be a bit of a problem if we don't have a Dispel ready to go for the Morphling.
Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, that's so annoying. I agree with that. Yeah. That's a big deal. Especially because now Morphling getting nerfed and he can get free shipping from the start. His attack speed's decent, but he doesn't have he needs the Manta to be able to spell that. I guess Ninja Gear might help you though, because that also hits the Phantom.
On bottom, chasing after Limitless, commits the coil here. There's another, actually everyone is TPing on back here for the side. Can they actually punish? Can they catch anyone on the way out? Oh, TSA tried, but it's too late. Limitless trying to TP. Yeah, he did. Doesn't even have the shard actually, so a bit surprising. But he's gonna get Beastmaster anyway. Rari continuing to just kill creeps, and that's a big death on Limitless. It's not bad. He at least buys the team a little bit more time because it's really the Aegis that is such a huge problem right now. So they're going to be able to re-push these waves back out and then try and get some wards up and hold yet again a second time. So a noble effort there for the Rat play.
I could not believe Slithering Crush. That was quite literally the definition of just a hit.
Yeah.
Slithering Crush should have missed, and like as you said, no shard, which he's getting now, by the way, on Supernova. So it's looking scary. Like, the Slaughter is a really good late game off-laner carry, honestly, because he feels like a pseudo role between the two. Initiator that also hits hard. I like it a lot. Lotus Orb also makes him really difficult to kill. Bait, best bet they have right now is cutting lanes. They're making the right plays. The problem is you're so far gone now that even when making the right plays, you might not have a chance to win.
Is under attack.
Yeah, Train Protector going to TP away rather than push bottom lanes because there's no point. Healing the tower here. They actually might get backdoor to kick in for just a little bit here. Maybe if they're lucky. That mid, not fast enough. And there's a wave pushing in mid that's going to break the backdoor as well. Okay, half HP to Rari, but of course he's got Satanic and even a little of a boost now thanks to, the presume Aghanim Shard, yeah, on Grimstroke, who also actually has the Dark Portrait Aghanim Scepter available as well. And oh boy, does Morphling Solution hurt if it's max agi.
Dire's bottom
Exactly, right?
barracks
And
is
now that
falling.
you are losing, you're forced into 4.1 as you tend to do, right? Because you need to get all the safe farm with the Morphling, and that just boosts the Portrait, right? It's both kind of situation to be fighting against. Because what do you do? Like, what's your solution? You can't give all the farm to Leshrac and let him beat it late for that. The Morphling alone cannot beat this because of Dark Portrait plus the PA. So best thing you can do right now is try to get pickoffs to the Beastmaster on. Cutting lanes is nice, but if you could get some important kill like the Slaughter or the Puck, that might net you.
Dire's middle barracks are under
I
attack.
think it's too dangerous right now though. I think after Aegis
Like right now, yes, specifically.
yeah, after
As
Aegis
the-
is up, I think you go and you try. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 10 more seconds, so they're actually gonna maybe try and defend the tier 2 tower here, Abo.
Interesting.
See, I don't know if this is the right play. This is again forcing a 5-on-5 fight. Maybe you could burst out Rari, but again, hits the Aegis. Oh,
Okay.
they're calculating it perfectly. I heard a hook shot.
Yeah, it's
It's
for
gonna
the
be
Willow.
Dark Willow. And they started with a splitter. Now the Aegis expires. There we go. Big fight for Bait. Is that going to work out for them? I don't think so. It seems like they just got the Morphling and Watson. They get destroyed. Look, he has nowhere to go but the Graveyard Askel. He even find the Trim Protector. No more overgrowth for you, sir. Watson, no fear, both die. TSA can't even complete the TP. That
doesn't
Yule
have
Center
buyback.
won't help against the Yule Center. He gets bursted with a single hit from Rari.
Dire's top tower is falling.
Oh, they even catch Dandy Askel.
Oh no!
He wants to push him back. This is really bad. No, the Yule Center at least will save him.
Wait, he has BKB. He's got
He has
BKB. There's no way he dies
yeah,
here.
He
There's no way
should
he
be able to
dies.
avoid this.
Is
Rari
under
has
attack.
Abyssal Blade though in 4 seconds. Dandy, don't be too close to this. As everyone fights back, Supernova misses that stun. Dandy fights back. We have no BKB on Supernova, but he goes Rari, hoping to kill Dandy.
overthrow.
The double Abyssal Blade, that's gonna work well if they can only kill a Trimmed at least. Yes, they got the dive back here. Rari
Watson?
gets away immediately for the Prowler Roar, hoping to re-engage. Watson here dealing a fair amount of damage to Rari, who's not concentrating on him, killing the rest of his team instead. Now they got him stunned in a pickle. Watson cannot actually shift in time. He's going to fall, and the GG will be called. Fate has to accept defeat as Fantastic 5 very impressively 2 points better.
Yeah, very, very nuts. Well played. I mean, I thought it was going to be Bait all the way. When they failed to actually kill Dendi as he went up into the high ground into the triangle under the ward, but they just got pumped.